see us now. There's a slight delay.
It's a just actually he's cracked.
I'm just checking my teeth of mine as well.
There we are. Hey, we're on YouTube, gang. Say hello.
We are. Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Hello.
Welcome to the very first one.
We have 17 people waiting to hang out with us. How cool is that?
We're popular.
Nice.
Hey, I'd recommend muting.
And I'll probably drive them away because of how ugly I am, but that's okay.
Oh, stop that.
We sort of look alike there, McNulty. I don't know what that means for the world. You have significantly more hair, though.
Yeah,
I think the hair gene.
So how is everybody in the YouTube Hangout on YouTube? How are you guys doing? Thank you, 17 people, for wanting to watch us record this live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we're up to 21 people now. The numbers are going up.
Well, Zach, the other thing that says if I put on my blue hoodie, then that will definitely kind of,
I mean, it's
set us apart. Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. I mean, look who's hanging out with me on my microphone tonight. So
That's fun.
I did it just for the clone fans, and I did it also to annoy George.
Nintendo Handheld says, Mike, you look better on video than you do in still images.
Well, thank you.
Hello, Mel. What's going on? We got Kaylee's Warlord. Even JR has a goblin figure. JR, they're loving your props.
I got more where that came from.
Whoa, hey.
Whoa. We don't need to see the goblin. I mean,
we've got Clover Fan 98. Greetings, George, from another Texan.
Hey, represent.
There you go.
Notice how he says hello, George, from another Texan, not hello, Zach.
You can eat me.
Whoa, hey, settle down now. Wow.
Who took you to lunch, sir?
No, I said thank you. My God, what are you? What, you're a kidney?
Whoa. Okay, let me put up on our Facebook that we're streaming live now, and we'll begin the show, everybody.
All right.
Do we want to have our special guest to introduce? Should I go grab it?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, is Jack coming on?
Yeah, we asked before you got on, George.
Okay, cool. Because I have a question.
I've been wanting to see him in person.
Okay.
All right, cool. This works. My plan's coming together.
What's up, dude?
Hey.
Oh, nice Spider-Man shirt too.
What's up, Jack?
Hey.
Okay, now Ashley and Jack, I have a question.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Since you guys are getting married, what, next year?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. And I said on Facebook that I ship the two of you so hard. Since that's a thing now and there's an actual ship, I'm going to need to know what you want your ship name to be. Do you want it to be Ash Jack or Jack Ash?
No, the way it works is you combine them, so it's. Like
I did combine them. There's Ash.
It's Jackley or Ack.
It's Dash.
It's Ack.
They're arguing over it. That's great.
They may not be getting married now.
Hey, that's good practice for when you actually are married, right, JR?
No.
Hey, I'm taking your last name, so my name can come first in our ship name. So that's how it works.
But
Okay, now Jack, real quick while you're here, because we said we would make Ashley talk about this, but now we can make them both talk about it. Talk about the pizza place with the Sentinel outside and all the Spider-Man stuff.
Oh, yeah, we want to hear
all
about
the
that.
superhero stuff.
So it's in pizza. It's in Little 5 Points in downtown Atlanta. It's I'm not sure how long it's been there. I was just told by my friend who lives downtown that it's a good pizza place because we were going to a metal concert that night and we wanted to eat somewhere nearby just to make things easier.
A metal concert.
So I heard, yes.
Who was it?
Hammerfall.
Oh.
my favorite.
It's his favorite. It was his Valentine's Day.
MC Hammer, is that what you said?
Oh my God.
No,
Hammerfall.
That sounds like a Thor story.
So it's like his
Hammerfall.
It's supposed to get if MC Hammer strays too close to the edge of a cliff.
Mm.
Hammer fall.
Fall.
Okay.
Back to the pizza.
Anyway, so I heard about this superhero themed pizza place that was right up the street from the venue. So of course we got to try that. And so when you walk up to this place, it's got this huge on the front. It's got this huge painting of Sentinel with the the restaurant name, Savage Pizza. And you walk in, you've immediately got like the Spider-Man themed bench with the webbing and everything. They have
I really love that.
yeah, the front counter was all
Nice.
paper mache up with comic book covers,
Mm.
all mostly Silver Age stuff, and some Todd McFarlane era like Spider-Man covers.
Oh, nice.
Then you have
How much money
you had big
by using those covers?
yeah. They had the bathrooms were all done up the same way as well. We can't speak for the men's room,
Because I didn't go.
but in the women's room they had like all superhero and comic book covers plastering the wall, so that was really cool. On the ceiling they had like all these ton of action figures and big
Yeah.
models
Memorabilia.
from like Hulk, so they had Spider-Man 1, they had Godzilla.
Oh, when y'all said big models, I thought you meant like plus size. Okay.
Like
That escalated quickly.
big, like they were large.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be politically correct.
Obviously.
It's a word.
I like that they had a sentinel out front which said, "Please enjoy our artisan pizza, unless your genetic code is unacceptable, in which case we'll kill you."
That's
Yep.
funny.
But yeah, they had
The windows were this one big paint mural of a bunch of different.
yeah, it had the
DC
Justice
characters.
League on the windows. They
Black
had
Adam.
our little napkin dispenser had Spider-Man on it.
Oh,
It was really great, and they had really great food.
I was
The
going to
pizza
say
was
some of those
amazing.
places they spend all the money on the props. They didn't spend it on the food.
Oh no, the food is great. They
Yeah,
had
it
the
was
pizza
good.
was fantastic. Everything I could want.
Nice.
And they had really good dessert too, and they served really good root beer. What's it called again?
It was Red Hair.
Red Hair root beer.
It was a local brewery, but they did root beer as well.
Logan
It's root beer, pizza, and
Craft.
chocolate cake.
says George is a chubby chaser because I can totally respect that. On the, whoa,
Now, okay, now first of all, that's a terrible thing to say. Second of all, I like gals of all shapes and sizes. Now, Daddy's not a nitpicker, all right? But now you're detracting from our quality time with Jack.
oh,
What do you mean these people?
oh.
Those people. Oh,
Those people. There are 30 people watching us right now. And
my
someone
God.
get Brad a Spider-Man napkin dispenser next Christmas is what
It is.
sex says.
It is Jack's fault that Ashley is on the show. So
I'll just give you a really big bag next time, and I'll take it for you, Brad.
Yeah, well, great. No, don't shoplift. We don't want that. We don't want that.
don't give anyone any
Okay.
stickers.
But no, George had a point. George had a point. Let's let George make this point because this is a very
Okay.
important point.
no, George had a point about we should talk to Jack while he's here. That was his point.
No.
Well, this
Like, I might
George is
while I'm here.
Yeah, okay, here's a question to the panel and also the YouTubers. What would you like to start with? Would you like to start with news or would you like to start with reviews?
Oh, we're letting them decide. This is chaos.
No, I'll see what majority
Douglas,
rules.
you are the executive producer of this show. You should be the one calling the shots right now.
All right, I say we start with reviews. What do you think?
I think reviews is.
Oh,
is excellent.
Nintendo handheld says news. We got reviews, news, reviews. Oh, it's all over the place in the room.
I
now.
Oh,
didn't know it was a
you see what you
democracy.
now started, Brad?
Oh my gosh.
You brought this ruin upon us.
I'm seeing a lot more reviews. Oh, someone wants Ditko news right at the top. Oh, nice.
No,
Nice.
that's how Douglas likes to close. I don't think do we
Jim-
have any Ditko news this time.
I don't think we have
know what to
Ditko
do.
news. I'm going to have to find some real damn quick.
Ditko News is going to come around 3 a.m. being very tired, going Ditko News.
YouTubers, you can watch me. I just saw a live snort. Did you see that from Ashley?
Yep.
YouTubers. Nice.
Recording for the
JR,
world to see.
JR, it looks like they want reviews first. The majority. You're the one that's starting it off. Are you ready for reviews?
I guess I am.
Okay. All right. This is how we do it. Where I'm going to do a.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do
And
it.
Jack's gonna pee.
It's Friday night.
If you're gonna be doing the actual show, I should probably make my exit now.
Allow
Good
me
to see you in person, Jack.
Allow me to raise the roof.
Yeah,
for
it's
Jack.
nice to see all you
Oh,
guys.
we're raising the roof for Jack.
Raising the roof for Jack. Good to see you.
All right. The roof hath been raised.
All right. Oh,
Is that a millennial thing? The roof has been raised.
what?
That's,
like-
that's
Using the hell out.
That was a thing like 25 years ago, JR.
Oh,
Ashley, the YouTube chat room says get hashtag live snort trending right now.
Let's do it.
No, okay. Let me get I have one iTunes review. Let me get that.
Every time Ashley snorts, an angel gets its wings.
Or you. Whoa! Whoa! There's an angel right there.
Way to go, Clarence!
That is so funny. Okay, here we go, gang. JR, you said you're ready, man?
oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Hell,
Okay.
oops, heck.
This is we're starting off. I'm gonna do the regular intro and then I'll say who's on the show. Okay, coming in 3, 2. Hey, Crawlspace. Hell, I messed up.
Wow.
See,
Okay,
see
for
you
those of
two.
you watching live, this
Watch
is
it live.
all the goddamn time.
Ah,
Raise your hand if you broadcast for a living.
not anymore.
Raise your hand if you broadcast for 16 years.
Yeah.
Raise your
the
hand if
button.
you had Mexican food today. Hell yeah.
Oh, I did.
El Phoenix? Was it El Phoenix?
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our June podcast. We're doing the reviews now, but first, let's see who we've got on the panel. We've got Zach. What's going on, Zach?
It's a Friday night. I didn't
Yeah, it's
realize you're
Friday
going with me first, but that's fun. Hopefully, you can tell my companion for the evening. And how to troll JR in 5 seconds. There it is, right there.
Oh my effing!
For those listening to the show, we've started broadcasting on YouTube. So search Spider-Man Crawlspace on YouTube, and you can see this podcast live. Well, it's not going to be live when you see it. It'll be delayed.
You too can share the magic of live podcast.
What it's like to podcast live, which we're doing now. We've got 32 people watching us right now. So we've introduced Zach. Let's introduce Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Oh, well, great to be here. And hello, everybody on YouTube land again.
And iTunes land and everybody watching and listening across the globe.
Right.
Yeah. And we have George. What's going on, George?
Not much, and I have to tell you, with everything down here below, the way that the Google Hangout is all arranged and everything, I feel a little like Paul Lynde, like I should be in the middle square. That's funny to people who are like 40 and nobody else.
JR and I got it.
Except Paul Lynde was on Paul
Exactly.
Lynde was on drugs most of the time. He was on Hollywood Square.
So am I.
Now, you had the modern version of Hollywood Squares that had Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, I remember
So-
that.
Yeah,
We also-
Whoopi Goldberg.
no, that's-
That other voice you heard was JR. What's going on, JR?
This is an absolutely terrifying moment. I mean, am I
Why is
really
that?
on live? Are people actually seeing me live?
You are being seen live, and
Oh.
probably several days later, you're going to they're going to hear audio of you on a podcast.
This only used to be on Star Trek. This is just absolutely terrifying. Next, you're going to tell me that you can talk into your cell phone and find things.
That's
You
true.
know?
That's true. And we have Ashley. What's going on, Ashley?
We're getting live snort trending. Make it happen.
Before we hit record, we got Ashley snorting a little bit.
Rip Taylor.
What about Rip Taylor? I'm sorry.
Days are here again. Rip Taylor, dude.
I freaking
I remember that guy. I remember
The
that
You know,
confetti guy.
You people are not making
You
me
people,
happy.
I got the reference.
For those audio listeners who are listening to this later, we've also got, as we stream it live on YouTube, we have 33 people in the chat room commenting as we say things. So you might hear various things like Rip Taylor come out of JR out of nowhere.
So this is our business. Okay, that's from that's from a Star Trek episode, season 2. Tomorrow, no, it's not. Is it tomorrow? Is yesterday? Oh hell, I don't remember.
All right. Before we get
I just
started, on
think
our
it's cool that we
reviews-
can see in. Sorry, I was going to say it's really cool that we can see into JR's basement fully now. I feel like
Yes.
I'm sitting like right across from him.
For those listening, we have JR's got
Great.
several goblins around him on his video stream. right
Shocking.
now. Yes. So we have one iTunes review that I'm going to read. We had this submitted on April 30th. Let me get the screen a little bit bigger so I can read it. And it was submitted by Up and Down and All Around on April 30th. The subject title is definitely one of the most interesting podcasts I've ever listened to. 4 out of 5 stars. Note, Brad, when you read the new reviews of the podcast in the next episode too, just know that I'm using my mom's iTunes account to write this review. I'm 19 years old. Yeah, I'm a spiderling. So heads up on that. To get to the point, this is the podcast. This is a podcast I recently started listening to on episode 459. I can see where the complaints of being too negative come from, but seeing how this Spider-Man brand has been tainted for a decade now, with Slott's current run being a disaster, the negativity is justified. Episode 462. Despite me being disagreeing with the majority of the Crawlspace opinions on Spidey Homecoming, it was another good episode. Special shout out to JR, who I find to be the most interesting person to listen to, because it's JR. Please don't take offense to this. It's like listening to a grandfather talk about how Spider-Man affected his life growing up when the character was fairly new. Keep up the solid work.
Well, he says keep up the solid work, but what he doesn't realize is that really it's more of a chore for him just to keep solids down.
I was about to say I had to put my teeth in before I get anything solid. Well, George once described Spider history as a drunk uncle telling you a story. So I guess being a grandfather is not too bad.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. That's hysterical. So thank you.
Just JR, you'll sneeze and then you will be long.
Yes.
I lost you, Zach. I didn't hear you. Okay, let's see. We have what we're going to do on this episode. Since we only have here, I'll hold it up. Look for those on YouTube.
And the YouTube chat is on fire right now.
It is crazy.
It really is.
This is the book that we're going to review, ASM 27. And since it's Goblin centric, I thought our Goblin expert could handle the synopsis. So go ahead, JR.
Oh, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we start off at Castle Kharkov because that's the Countess's name. Deep in the heart of Symkaria. Anyway, Norman Osborn, who by now has had more plastic surgery than Joan Rivers, sits in bandages as his mad scientist plastic surgeon takes off the bandages. Now, as the doctor looks on in horror, Norman goes, "Mirror! Mirror!" And then the doctor says, "You understand that the nerves were completely severed, Mr. Osborn." And then Norman starts laughing hysterically. And the doctor says, "You see what I have to work with here." And then Norman cackles madly as he staggers out of the room. Right? Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah.
More or less, yeah.
The YouTubers are saying, yay, it's story time with JR. Rest in peace, Joan Rivers. Tell us a story. Oh, JR's using his goblin voice. All right. Thank you, YouTubers.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Somebody got the reference. Somebody got it. Okay, good. Thank you. Because I mean, sometimes I wonder, like when you have kids or whatever, and you tell them something you think is profound, and they just stare at you like you're a moron. So, nice to know I'm among friends. Okay, well, you got the joke. All right. Anyway, Dr. Dragovic tells Norman, you really shouldn't have done this so soon after you wanted to look like Bart Hamilton. So why did you do it again? Well, of course, Norman doesn't tell him, but we know that the last time Spider-Man confronted him, he called Norman chicken for not showing his face. And if you know that Norman hates anything, he hates being called chicken. Anyway, so once Norman gets...
Who is he, Marty McFly?
Norman gets a gander of how he looks, he does one of those incredibly stupid supervillain things, where because the supervillain makes some incredibly stupid mistake and blames it on someone else, which is what supervillains do. So I guess in this case, the Doctor is really James Comey. So Norman... So Norman throws goblin gas at the Doctor, which makes him, retch and gag, and then Norman proceeds to tell us that because Spider-Man did something to him the last time they met, he's now immune to the effects of the goblin formula, and that he's no longer crazy, but stone cold sane and therefore more dangerous. So, yeah, right. Norman's not crazy. Yeah, I've got a big gripe about that, but that'll come in pros and cons.
Real quick, JR, 227060 says, we are all JR's children.
I was just typing in the chat. I'm dying over that.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that's awesome.
I was about to say I ought to bring in one of my real children, and they'll show you how fun that is. In fact, I tried to get one of them on the show, and he declined. But anyway, so anyway, Countess Karkov, Norman's new squeeze, drops by, and instead of telling Norman that he looks like he went face down on the fryer at Chipotle's, she pulls from her years of experience of telling new mothers that their homely new baby looks beautiful. So she tells Norman that he looks like the man who has brought new life to her country. All right. The scene shifts to Spider-Man and Silver Sable in a plane flying to Caria, loaded with all sorts of spider cars and spider trucks and spider cycles and all that crazy crap. So Silvertail Sable.
That sounds like a My Little Pony.
No, this sounds like somebody with Alzheimer's trying to tell you a story.
Because it is. That's exactly what it is.
So Silver tells Spidey that Osborn and the Countess have enslaved her people, making them work in the factories, creating his weapons of mass destruction. So Spider-Man asks Sable how she escaped from being dead at the hands of the Rhino during the time Dr. Octopus tried to fry the Earth. Sable says that she read the Sherlock Holmes stories, The Final Problem and The Adventures of the Empty House, and instead of dying, she survived and let everyone believe she was dead so that she could come back and take out her enemies one by one without them being aware. And Spider-Man says, well, you could have just said comic books and that would have been fine. So anyway, the scene shifts to Samuel L. Fury interrogating Aunt May and Harry, quote unquote, Lyman, because he's ashamed of his old man. Well, and actually I know what that's like.
Why is Spencer ashamed of you?
Yeah. Who of course are clueless that Peter was going to invade Symkaria to take out Norman Osborn. And even though Fury knows that Spider-Man's going after Norman Osborn, who has taken over a foreign country, he's still got to stick up his hind end because Peter is funding an invasion into a foreign country to take out a guy who is creating weapons of mass destruction. Hey, whatever the story demands, we'll go with it, right? Because we know where this is going to end. Anyway, Fury gets in contact with Mockingbird. Mockingbird gives him the coordinates to the Parker Industries plane that S.H.I.E.L.D. is tracking, only to find out that the plane was a decoy and Mockingbird has resigned from S.H.I.E.L.D. and is helping Peter Parker because, as she tells Fury, F you, I liked you better when you were David Hasselhoff. So what follows next is when Spidey and Sable invade, we get several pages of generic battles, bad jokes, flying goblins, and walkers that Norman ripped off from Return of the Jedi. Spider-Man unmasks one of the goblin flyers and find out that he's not just wearing a costume, but he's been turned into a real goblin. Norman has altered the formula and is now going to shoot some big missile into the air and turn the whole population of Symkaria into an invincible army of goblins. And we see those three frightening words, to be continued, because that means this isn't over yet.
Okay. JR, what is your grade, sir?
Oh, I want the razor blades.
Wow.
I give it a
that
D.
escalated.
I give it a D. Oh, did I say something triggering? I apologize to anybody out there who that
all
triggered
30
something.
or all 35 of you.
Yeah.
So we got a D out of the biggest goblin fan I know, which is a goblin-centric story. Let's go, Zach. What's your grade, sir?
This is a D. I mean, Stuart Immonen is good, but damn.
Yeah. Mike, what's your grade?
Well, I hope you can see this for YouTube land because I'm giving this a D.
Oh, it's a letter. I thought he was setting something up.
No. I know your rule against props, George, but I mean that's the closest I can get.
George made a rule about props. You listeners and viewers want to see props. Okay. Ashley, what's your grade?
D.
A what?
D.
Oh, okay.
D.
Got it. D.
Yeah.
And George.
A D. The art saves it from being an F.
That's pretty much my thoughts exactly. D out of me also. George, the pros, we've said the art. Is there any other pros for this? JR.
And the crickets
Yes.
chirp.
No pros?
Not a blank. Now, I wish you hadn't banned cussing, but because it's a lot harder to review these things when I can't cuss. But
trying to be family friendly.
It's like, oh no, I have a reputation to protect.
Lord.
Anyway,
Okay.
But,
So
no, there are no pros. This is just awful.
YouTubers, I'm going to go around the horn, but I want to hear some pros. If there's any, type it in the chat over there. Around the horn, anybody pros besides the art? What did you like about issue 27? Come on.
The fact that we're on part 3 of 4 and this is mercifully about to end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's almost over.
Our long national nightmare.
Ashley, any pros out of you?
Well, you said we couldn't talk about the art, so I guess not.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. 227060. That's a hard name to say. Silver Sable isn't dead. That's a pro. I agree.
Yeah, but that was like a pro from like a couple of issues ago.
Oh, yeah. Hornacek said I didn't read.
Do they carry it?
Hornacek says the pro is I didn't read the issue.
Okay, wait a minute. I do have maybe
Lucky you.
one.
It ended. There was a pro from Logan.
I do have a pro. We do at least get an explanation for how Silver Sable is back.
Yeah.
It's not a great explanation, but at least it's something.
Well, she had to come back for that new Black Cat movie.
Yeah.
Poor Ashley. We'll talk about that in the next show. Poor Ashley.
Counterpoint.
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
Okay.
Ashley is so triggered right now.
Okay, Zach, you were saying something about you have a
Yes,
counterpoint. to that?
Zach has a counterpoint. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh God.
So we're like, okay, yay, we finally get an explanation. Think about how long it's taken us to get to this point.
What year did What year did she die? Allegedly,
Like 2013.
I
3
think
years ago.
No, well, wait a minute. I think wasn't it before Superior Spider-Man? So technically, that's actually 2012.
It's 2012. It's taken us 5 years to get to this point.
Another pro from the chat room. Ashley is triggered. That's a pro. Nice. Okay, Sable died in 2012. Ends of the Earth. That's where she died, according to our
2012.
2012.
2012.
Isn't that when the world was supposed to end?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Spider-Man would have missed.
if there's no other pros, I heard crickets. Let's do the cons. JR, since you're man in this one, and you're smoking like George. Okay. Someone earlier in the chat said I'm going to have to digitize George's smoking out because Caseta doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
True. Oh, well, you're asking for cons.
Hit me up with cons. Go ahead.
Oh, Lord, I don't know. I mean, it's when the whole story is this bad, but I just don't get Norman's angle. I mean, why is he there? Why does he want to turn everybody into goblins? This is almost as stupid as the final chapter where he wanted to break everybody down to their basic DNA and recreate the human race from the ground up. And it's like that doesn't sound. No, this is not stuff the Green Goblin likes to do. I mean, so I really don't understand what Norman's doing here. I mean, really, that's it. I don't like this story. So
That's all right. Cons, everybody else.
Okay. To me, Norman's face, where he looks now, I think is actually a perfect metaphor for the current state of Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it kind of looks. I mean, yeah, it looks a little bit like, kind of like Spider-Man, except it's now this twisted, distorted, deconstructed version, if you will, in which it's almost like it practically is almost not any semblance to him. I mean, the way I kind of described it when I wrote a review of this for the site I work for, Bam Smack Powa, I described this as kind of like almost like a G.I. Joe episode gone bad, except even bad episodes of G.I. Joe weren't this dull. Because I mean, practically this whole thing was like, imagine like basically Snake Eyes cosplaying as Spider-Man, and if he could talk, that's pretty much what this kind of got down to. I mean, and even Norman is now kind of like a combination of Cobra Commander and Destro or something, and with the Countess as the Baroness, essentially. I mean, it just, and also the other thing, you notice how there was that one scene where Silver Sable knocks this okay, remember how in the last issue, Silver Sable knocked some guy on one of those old goblin, hover tricycle things into like when they were floating in Shanghai, and she knocks him off and he blows up in the building, and Spider-Man berated her like, you could have killed that guy. But in this issue, Mockingbird almost does the exact same thing, and this guy's like in his flaming meteor of death right into one of those Star Wars AT-AT Walker things, and Spider-Man's like, whoa, did you see that? That was so awesome, like achievement unlocked. Like, he was all enthusiastic about it. So it's like you can kind of clearly tell that, now I guess potential love interests get like a pass, and so it's obviously character showing there. So that was my big things about it. But yeah, this was, I felt that the first half of this thing kind of dull, actually, and then but
all right, other cons. Ashley, what did you not like about it?
It was just so contrived, as Jared kind of pointed out. It was completely out of line with how these characters are typically characterized, what they're normally doing. It was very much written so that the story was driving the characters. The characters didn't really have any agency of their own. It was just, this is what needs to happen, and so we're just going to make up a reason for the characters to go along with it. It honestly felt like the only thing that made it Spider-Man was the suit. That and they're trying to set up Norman as like some kind of Doctor Doom with him, lording over his own country, and that just doesn't fit at all for his character. And I don't know why they're having him kind of step on Doom's toes. That and the way they had the country set up felt so unrealistic and so unbelievable. It seemed like they were trying to run a big country with who knows how many people, like it was an office. Any thought to people were living their daily lives, or any sense of the whatever the say-so was of Norman and his lady. So it felt like someone had watched 5 minutes of V for Vendetta and then cobbled together this setting. That's kind of the impression that I got. Nothing really existed outside of the confines and what the plot called for. So it was just some lazy and building that wasn't really meant to last beyond this one-off.
Yeah, we all saw this coming, the end of Parker Industries. You can see it coming a mile away.
Something else, which actually the people who have been commenting in the window have prompted this, but Norman and Peter really, Spider-Man, they're not acting like arch enemies. I mean, Norman makes a comment that the bug continues to vex me, but these guys have both of them have almost a sociopathic hatred of each other, but none of that is coming across really. I mean, they could just be any old enemies or whatever. These aren't playing like arch enemies who've been at each other's throats for 15 years. So.
Well, couldn't that part of it be that Norman doesn't know who Spider-Man is Peter Parker anymore?
Exactly, which is also stupid.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it just feels like none of the history is there. I know. A lot of people have been praising this, Volume 4 of Spider-Man because we have Spider-Man in all these different and new settings and new things going on. And I don't have anything against that. I like seeing new things done differently with other than the same old, but it doesn't have any of the old history and characterizations to inform those these new storylines. And so it just feels like it's completely off the beat.
Hornacek says, could you swap out Norman for any other Spidey villain in this story and not make any other changes?
The
yes.
Chameleon.
You can swap him out for any villain, not just Spider-Man villains, any villain.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, here's the problem. This is something that Marvel has been doing throughout the entire line. We've got Spider-Man who's behaving like Tony Stark. We have Doctor Doom who is suddenly healed. He's now trying to be a hero.
Zach, you're staticky. You're staticky.
He's so enraged that the internet can't contain it.
So much rage.
That's legit science.
You're back now. Go ahead.
All right. So my point is,
swap him out for Stegron. Hornacek says. There you go, George.
my point is, we got Dr. Doom, who is off being a hero. We've got Iron Man, who is now an artificial intelligence. So we're going to make Peter Parker Iron Man and Norman freaking Osborn, into Dr. Doom. This makes absolutely zero sense. I feel like that this entire plot was drug up from 2006, when we were supposedly invading sovereign nations, and that's the whole point of Mark Millar's Civil War story, to work out his feelings over it.
Logan says, "Get that man a bag of flour."
I can go get one.
I mean, this at this point, this is not Spider-Man. This is something.
No, it's not.
Moved. And this is why when people sit there and ask us, why don't you like this current direction? I get to dovetail off what Ashley's saying. Ashley's point is right. You can do things differently with Spider-Man, but it still has to be a core of the character. If that core is lost, which has been fundamentally altered in this particular volume, you can't. There's no. Where do you go from here?
You blow it up and you start over.
Yeah, we are so. And we've complained about this entire volume, but this just exasperates every single thing wrong with Amazing Spider-Man right now.
Yeah. Zach, drop the mic. Drop the mic. There you go.
I'll offer a a quick kind of parallel to that for me. If you want a clue that Spider-Man stories are off the rail, it's Aunt May getting shaken down by S.H.I.E.L.D. Like suddenly she's a cast member on Dallas with her own schemes or something. Are you kidding me? What the hell is that all about?
That's true. She does kind of look like Linda Evans in some of those shots.
We are so far removed from what Spider-Man stories should be right now.
Yes,
we are. We're not even miles away from it. We're like on a different planet.
A different dimension.
Yes.
A time dilation portal is what we fell through right now.
That's true. Any other comments on this one that we haven't expressed yet? Any other comments in the YouTube chat?
George Logan Craycraft says George for the win. Yes.
Nice. Remember when S.H.I.E.L.D. used to be good guys? All right.
Zach's preaching. I like this 22-7-6-0-6-0. He's saying I'm preaching true.
7060. You can't even get the guy's name right, and he's trying to.
Are you up there, Zach? Come on.
One person says, "I won't read Dan's slot. I just want to forget it." Oh, Hornacek, how was the cover? I don't even like the cover. Look at the cover.
Wow.
It looks. What is that thing? Was it even? Was it in the issue?
No. Well, he's driving his spider cycle, but I don't think it does that little Transformers move.
It's Bumblebee meets Spider-Man. What the crap?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, whoa, BD hates the cover. You know that went down a grade because of that, gang. Okay. Yep. now, a lot of you have asked for this, and since we only have one issue to review, we're going to do satellites, and we've got a ton of them. We've got Spider-Gwen and Silk. We've got Spectacular Spider-Man. We've got Miles, and we've got Ben Reilly. We've got 2099, and we've got Venom. And renew your vows. George, I didn't forget it.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
Dude, the chat window right now is going nuts over satellites. So
oh my goodness. Boy, you guys love the satellites. Heavens. Wow. Okay. You know what's sad is they're more excited about the satellites than they are the actual amazing book. Would anyone like to volunteer with their reviews of the books?
I'll go first. I'll set the tone.
We're starting with clones. Go ahead, Zach.
Right. So, Riley, the Scarlet Spider, number 1 and 2. I'm going to really go through these really quickly. So, Ben Reilly is in a costume that he stole from a cosplayer. Guess what? He's not in New York. No. He just went a little further east. He went to Las Vegas, Nevada. So that has a New York, by the way. And so we get Scarlet Spider, not this guy, of course, right here. Thank you for holding that up there, Douglas.
Oh, okay. You're welcome. Hello. Thanks for talking about my book.
Good gravy. Let's move it on.
So Scarlet Spider is confronting his demons. He's on one shoulder, he's got the Anubis Jackal. On the other, it's the 1990s Scarlet Spider, complete with jetpack. And throughout this entire issue, Ben's wrestling with what his next move is, and so he then decides to save a lady from a mugger, and then proceeds to shoot the guy in the leg, like straight up shoots the guy. Then he gives the gun to the victim and says, "You should carry this with you." So apparently Ben Reilly is pro Second Amendment. And
well, his clone was down in Texas.
Yeah,
previously.
So, well, I'll get to him in a minute, but then we cut to this sparkling casino with Cassandra Mercury as the owner. She apparently had a daughter that was cloned during Clone Conspiracy. She's pissed off. We meet Aunt June, which is the antithesis of Aunt May, and the issue ends with Cassandra pointing a gun at Ben. We pick up to issue 2, which has her still pointing a gun at Ben. He negotiates to try to buy himself some time. We meet the daughter that actually had the skin disorder that was slowly killing her. Suddenly she wakes up, and Cassandra thinks that like Ben Reilly has the magic touch, not unlike the Mark of Cain. Speaking of Cain, he kidnaps Rita Carlson and then proceeds to start trying to use enhanced interrogation on her. Threatening to put hot water on her face, but it's not hot water. No. It's dry ice. So even if that dry ice block had fallen out of the picture,
she still would have got burned.
She would still got burned like bad. So Kane is not a complete jerk. I'm heavily editing my review because of the no cussing clause. Thanks, Douglas. Anyway, we then Kane's trying to figure out where Ben is. He starts investigating. He finally figures out, oh hey, look, Las Vegas, Nevada. See next issue when we go back to the actual real hoodie. The end.
Okay, what's your grade on the first 2 issues? What do you think?
Look, these first 2 issues are a B-. Yeah, I'm grading them on a bit of a curve because of the Peter David interview, which all but confirms that the hoodie was not going to come back originally. But thank you for the fans for their outcry, because that's how we had this guy returning back to the pages, at least visually.
Yeah.
Artwork's great.
B's not bad. B for
No,
Ben.
it's not bad.
Yeah, I'd give it like a B- C+ out of me. Yeah. But anybody else read it? Any other thoughts on that one? The Ben Reilly book? Anybody on the panel read it?
Yeah, I read those issues too.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I get what Peter David's trying to do with them. I mean, he's trying to show that both Ben and Kane are kind of like, they're not really necessarily good or bad. They kind of have shades of gray to both of them, except at the same time.
Did you say shades of gray clones? That's a whole different movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but yeah, it's just kind of like, I mean, it's like, but again, it's what he's got to work with. I mean, basically. So
anybody else pick up the Ben book?
Actually, I did.
What?
Yeah,
wow!
I had a few extra bucks in my pocket, and rather than buy my wife some flowers, I bought myself an extra comic book. But
they're about the same price for a dozen roses, aren't they?
But it was, I don't remember much about it. I just remember after finishing it, I said, "Well, I bought issue 1. I am not buying issue 2." There was absolutely nothing that made me even curious as to following the rest of the story wherever it's going.
Further proof, because JR did not buy his wife flowers, that he's a gosh dang monster.
The YouTube chat room is going nuts, JR, that you bought a book besides Amazing. And that you we're going to buy your wife flowers. I think that's funny too. Hey, we're up to 40 people watching right now. So hello, everybody. That's kind of cool.
Okay.
Let's move on to your other book, Zach. What do you got?
All right, I got Miles Morales.
Okay.
So I'm going to give it like a little bit brief. We just had a crossover with Spider-Gwen. So this has been a very much delayed book for the last few months. We finally get Miles' father has been an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a few issues, particularly in this volume. And apparently he's kept it a secret from his wife. Who knows? That's never a good sign. Ashley, you'll learn this later on.
It's a survival technique, though.
True statement. True
You
statement.
also get marriage advice, and we just lost one viewer. We're now down to 39 after that.
This will be a continuing thing where Brad just
We're at
counts.
41.
Oh, we went up to 41. There we go. What'd you say, George?
This will be a recurring thing where you just keep throwing out the number.
Well, we're down to 39, so don't pick on me. We'll go back up.
Well, it's either that or he plays with his toys right there, in front of everybody. So,
So,
Go ahead. Go
anyway,
ahead. Miles Morales. What's going on, Miles? That book has been stagnant for a while, I think.
yes, and so the major thing that happens in this issue is we get the confrontation. So Jefferson is having to talk to his wife because she is madder than all as a hornet because she wasn't able to get a hold of both Jefferson and Miles due to the Spider-Gwen crossover. So because they were off in the Earth 65 or whatever. So as a result of this, Miles' mom finds out that Miles is Spider-Man. She is not handling this well and literally walks out on them at the end of the issue. That's it. That's all that happens.
Mhm.
Thank you, Brian Michael Bendis. We appreciate it.
It's a big talkie. What's your grade, sir?
It's a C+.
Okay. Luigi says stagnant on Miles is generous. It's been stagnant since Secret Wars. I agree. And yeah, didn't she die? No, yeah, Miles's mom died, but she got better.
Thanks to the multiple man for giving him a hamburger after 3 weeks.
Mother of the year, says Hornacek. Okay, anybody else reading Miles at the moment?
I did a thing of the next issue, and yeah, it's kind of, it basically Miles is kind of going through anger issues, essentially over that. But
and boy, Miles is just spread out all over the place. He's in Champions, which that book is so-so. I think I like the Humberto Ramos art, but it's just so-so. Who would like to go next for review?
I can go because I got a couple ones.
What books you got?
I've got. Well, I can start with the Freak. The
Freak had a mini.
No. I was got myself there. I was going to do the sneak peek of Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man that was a backup in the Free Comic Book Day edition of Secret Empire.
Nice.
And this was written by Chip Zdarsky. I hope I pronounced his name right, and also pencils by Paulo Segueria. They didn't, even though they think the actual series is going to be Adam Kubert, I believe. Yeah. Kubert. Okay.
Hey, real quick, McNulty, because I actually did some research on this. Zdarsky's name. It sounds like it's Zdarsky, but it's actually pronounced Smith.
Okay. That's what I thought. All right.
Nice.
Well, so the issue opens basically. It consists of Peter and Mary Jane. They're having lunch where they basically catch up and they basically rag on each other. There's a point where Mary Jane actually makes fun of Peter for why do you have to insist about the hyphen in Spider-Man? So there is that. So I
love that.
Yeah.
Brad Douglas fan service.
Yep.
Yeah, that was totally my service.
And while this is going on, there's an explosion, and the Vulture in a new kind of slightly improved suit is flying over after having robbed a bank. So then Peter quickly changes into Spider-Man, and he engages the Vulture, where he trades in a bunch of like "you're so old" jokes, like "oh, you're so old, they should have called you the Sandman because you could have just basically any minute you can croak and just turn to dust," for example. That's like one of them. But so. Eventually, Spidey's got the Vulture on the ropes when suddenly both of them get blasted with purple goop. And this is when we get introduced to the all-new, all-different, all-female, all-hot topic Trapster.
All Hot Topic, very nice.
Yeah, because she's dressed in like the leather jacket with a scarf and have
Now she's kind of a hipster. Can we call her the Tripster?
Yeah. Spidey sends. Well, Spider-Man suggested, do we have to call, when you called it the Trapster, do we have to say it without like the E or something, or like, have it like a Z in there or something, like, Trapster, like without the E, But anyway, so she basically calls them all both old, and then she takes the Vulture's ill-gotten gains and takes off. And then the free comic book the backup ends with 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Apparently, this is somehow connected to the Vulture's new suit, and so there's some kind of thing going on there. They're trying to investigate. These 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. investigates well, and they're afraid to go up to the top, and so they're thinking, and so the comic ends with them thinking about one of them possibly going to Spider-Man for help, even though he's not going to like it. So I would give this issue about maybe a B- C+. I think the art's pretty decent, some nice witty banner and everything.
What did you think of
the
MJ talk at the front? What did you think of that?
I understood what Zdarsky was going for, but I sometimes felt like it could get a little too harsh at times. I mean, I get they're supposed to be he's trying to establish, hey, these two know each other really well, and so they kind of rib-all each other. That's what friends do. But sometimes it's just the way that the style of the ribbing kind of gets. I mean, some people did get upset with the way how they kind of handled and everything like that. But I understood what he was going for, but I do think it could have been maybe not quite that.
The one thing I liked about that book, it felt classic Spider-Man, and we haven't had that feel in a long time.
Right. I mean,
this whole volume, in fact, of Amazing.
Yeah.
So
okay. And now the next book is Spider-Man Deadpool number 17, written by Joe Kelly and with art by Ed McGuinness. Now, a little backstory about this. Patient Zero, who is actually Deadpool's buddy Weasel, come back from the dead. He created a kind of the psychotic 90s-esque assassin called Itsy Bitsy, who is comprised of Spider-Man and Deadpool's DNA. So technically, she's kind of a clone of both of them, even though she's female. So it's kind of weird. Yeah. Well, so she's been going around killing in the name of both of her father's names. And this is really aggravating Spider-Man, and he's kind of driven to the breaking point. He wants to try basically put her out of action.
Oh, Mike, you there? Mike is locked up. Chat room.
New costume.
There you are, Mike. There you are.
Oh, okay. Do I want to go back a little bit? Because I was saying that because Spider-Man created like a new Superior Spider-Man-esque costume, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
which is kind of both ridiculous and awesome at the same time because it's got like multiple arms and everything. So then Deadpool, in the meantime, he's got wind of the fact that this is all kind of part of a plot to kind of get Spider-Man's soul. And so he tries to warn Spider-Man about this, but Spider-Man kind of doesn't really want to listen to this. In fact, at one point, he even threatens to expose the location of Deadpool's daughter if he doesn't back off. But Deadpool actually is able to call his bluff on that point. So Spidey and Itsy Bitsy fight. He actually drives her to like this giant solar generator thing that Parker Industries made that kind of really literally almost blows her in half, although she can still regenerate and stuff. And Spider-Man is kind of about to put the kibosh on her when Deadpool steps in and interferes. And that's how the issue ends. Oh, by the way, I neglected to mention who the mastermind behind this nefarious scheme to basically
make Peter kill
Spider-Man, and corrupt Spider-Man and send his and dispatch his immortal soul to hell. It's none other than Mephisto.
Yep.
So Kelly is actually 10 years after the fact. We are actually getting somewhat of a follow-up of the ramifications of One More Day.
Yeah. I love how everywhere else acts like it's such a MacGuffin, and he's like, no, don't get your hopes up on that. No.
Yeah, I mean, but basically it's kind of but again, you're probably wondering like, well, wait a minute, I thought he was supposed to leave Peter Spider-Man alone for the rest of his days. He says, but remember, technically, since the deal didn't happen, that little side deal that Mary Jane had told him about that leave him alone, that also didn't happen either. So now that's kind of the loophole there. So.
What's your grade on that book?
I'm giving this a B+. I think the art's great. I like how it kind of embraces both the current Spider-Man, but also kind of lampoons it at the same time. I also kind of like the role reversal that both Spider-Man and Deadpool have. Like Deadpool's actually the voice of reason in this, where Spider-Man's like, no, I'm really like all dark and gritty and everything. But it's kind of done a little bit hilarious. My big con though, I don't think it has a lot of depth because this is just basically one big protracted fight scene over the entire issue. So, and Itsy Bitsy, yeah, she's deliberately kind of like I said, a 90s-esque villain. She's kind of like more of a, kind of a silly thing, but overall, I'm kind of enjoying this, and so I'm looking forward to see what I guess because I don't know if issue 18 is going to be Kelly and McGinnis's finale on the series.
I think it is.
So I'm really kind of curious as how they're going to end that one. Well, good thing it's not actually ending, but it's still. But
well, I think if they wanted to end it on a good quality note, they'd end it with that creative team.
Oh yeah, but I think
the fill-in artists and writers haven't been good.
Yeah, but I mean, I think part of the reason why Spider-Man and Deadpool has been doing so well that they've just, I imagine this would have started off as kind of like as a limited series, but then because of the good reception it's gotten, they decided to kind of keep it going. So in a way, I think that's. But yeah, it'd be interesting if it's just going to be kind of rotating creative teams from this point on. It's going to be, I think it's going to maybe a little bit tough at times because we've all saw what happened with Brand New Day what happened there. So
I forget who said it, but then the YouTube chat someone said Kelly is so trolling Brand New Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
And I got to call on my buddy Enigma 2099. He did a lot of the covers for CSA, dude. You just put some fighting words up saying that Black Cat's not interesting.
Oh yeah, don't incite Ashley. She's going to go off if you insult.
The situation is under control.
Your name's on the list now, buddy.
Oh, great.
I said, that's fine. More for me.
All right, Mike. I think is that your last book?
Yep.
Okay. Ashley, you wanted to go next, so
all right, I'll go. I did this a little differently because I know we had we haven't gone over some of these satellites in a while, especially Silk and Spider-Gwen. And so I just kind of went and did a recap of everything that's been covered since then. And Brad asked that we keep this very, very short. So I kept it very short. So apologies if it's not that in-depth. So basically with Silk, she found her family in the negative zone, which was weird. They were talking to dragons, and she found her mother who was dressed up as a red knight and fighting off all sorts of like mythical creatures and stuff in the negative zone. They had in spite of all the kind of fantastical stuff that seemed out of place, they had a good family reunion moment. And after that, they were all back together again, ready for just to get their life back on track. However, Cindy feels like she can't settle down yet. She doesn't quite know what she's looking for. She ends up moving over to the West Coast to continue her job with, working with JJJ's news channel. And she gets caught up in New You and the Clone Conspiracy, unfortunately for her. She wants to her identity as Silk a secret, so she debuts instead as Silkworm with a new look, which is pretty snazzy. And she teams up with her ghost ex-boyfriend, sort of current love interest, but he's a ghost, so they don't really go anywhere. His name's Spectro. And they mixed it with clone. It was interesting because since his power is essentially that he can be a ghost, they brought him back as one of the clones. And so they had an interesting moment where he and Cindy could reconnect for the first time and actually kind of pursue some sort of relationship until, of course, the whole sound attack went down and he started his body dissolved, but he came back as a ghost, so it was all okay, I guess. After that, she decides she wants to just focus on finding herself, and after some conflict and discussing with her family and talking with her therapist, she decides that she does want to pursue being a hero, continuing her life as Silk and being a hero full time. So she takes up Mockingbird's offer and joins S.H.I.E.L.D. However, she runs into a woman named Fang, who it's revealed was had been watching her ever since she'd been in the bunker and trailing her. She'd been had ties with Ezekiel, who was what was our name for him back in Spider-Verse? I wish I could remember. Someone will have to remind me later, and I'll kick myself for not remembering. But she had inherited all of his money after his death and used it on curing Silk of her powers And oh,
That
hearing her of
is
her powers, and
that's Ashley. Here, everybody. Ava walked in and wanted to say hello. That's Ashley,
Oh,
and
Hi,
that
Ashley.
is George, and that is JR. He's a goblin. And that's Mike, and that's Zach. And these are
Hi,
38
Ava.
YouTubers. Look right there, baby, and say hi. There you go. Look, what does that say? They're talking about you. Anthony says, hi, Ava. Okay. All right.
I dyed my hair today.
She did dye her hair. She got a little bit of purple in it right here. Oh.
that's the best color.
Cool.
We love you, baby Crawlspace.
Oh, he said, love you, baby Crawlspace. All right. We're interrupting Ashley, so go ahead, Ashley.
It's okay.
Sorry.
That was a good interruption. But anyways, Fang is using Ezekiel's fortune to try and she says she's trying to cure Silk of her powers, and she enlists the help of her father, who doesn't want her to be a hero. But what Fang is actually doing is trying to extract Silk's powers and give them to herself so she can take over Spider Society or something. And but of course Silk beats her, and she reconciles with her father, who accepts her for what she's doing and is happy to see that she's, you know, happy with her life. And she and her family live happily ever after. And that's the end of Silk.
There's been no mention that Silk's coming back with her own book either. I haven't seen Silk with the exception of Hulk, and that book's horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was.
Are you sad to see the book end?
Yeah. Am I sad to see it? Maybe yes, and it did, but I feel like there wasn't really anywhere left for it to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sad it got tied up in Clone Conspiracy because it was just a crossover done poorly. You could tell they clearly did it before they had to. It was really rushed.
Yeah.
And I mean, anyone who happened to be reading Silk without reading the Clone Conspiracy arc would have been left in the dark. So it was not meant to stand alone on its own.
We've talked about Silk, Ashley, that you were reluctant to buy this book based on the Dan Slott appearance of her.
Something I would actually, since it's kind of, they've closed the book on it, I would actually enjoy doing a full read through on it again.
Yeah.
So it's a fun story. Not just it managed to keep her emotional journey pretty consistent, just of how she is not only going through and finding her family and fighting crime and teaming up with Black Cat and all these like little micro stories, but ultimately the story of her becoming happy with herself.
Yeah. So you liked the character at the end of the day, right?
I did. I got really attached to Cindy.
Yeah.
When she was actually written as a human being.
Just not the hormones, etc. Yeah.
Oh my God! Don't get me started.
Did they finally just drop all that crap? Like
They
nothing burger it was.
Come up at all in the her spinoff series? Not at all.
Any chance of a cosplaying as Silk in the future for you?
Ooh, maybe.
I don't think it'd be. I guess you'd have to get that logo and the mask or whatever. But
yeah, I did actually. Last year, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast at all, but at MomoCon, I cosplayed Black Cat and went to a big Marvel DC photo shoot. And there was a Silk cosplayer there, so we did a few photos together, and it was really fun.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That's cool. Very nice.
Ashley, when you were at MomoCon, did you go to the Overwatch voice actor panel?
Hornacek says, everyone take a shot every time Ashley brushes her hair aside. It's asymmetrical. It gets in my eyes. I can't help it.
I have the exact opposite problem.
Ashley, when you were at MomoCon, did you go to the Overwatch voice actor panel?
At what now?
At MomoCon, did you go to the Overwatch voice actor panel?
I wasn't able to make it this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't go. I was lame.
Did anybody else besides Ashley and myself read Silk?
I know our reviewer on the front page, I think it was it Ryan or Sean? Sean. He had a very heartfelt, emotional type of final review, because this is the final review he's done for a long time. He's been reviewing for our site now for like 8 years, all like a lot of those satellite titles that, quite frankly, the rest of us didn't want to review.
Okay, yeah, you've got Spider-Gwen next.
Yes, Spider-Gwen was all over the place. So, we had, of course, there was a big announcement that Gwen and Miles were going to be in a relationship now. So we see kind of the other take on that in and her. We don't see how they got together at all. We just see them kind of going through the relationship and the little form with that. So together, they're pretty much teaming up and fighting Silk, which in Gwenverse is the evil organization headed by Cindy Moon, who, it was revealed, is the evil genius behind, who formulated the isotope that created and led to Peter becoming the Lizard, essentially. So they team up with Miles' dad, and they pretty much save the multiverse together and fight Silk. After that, things kind of get back on track, and she's back in her universe, dimension, whatever you want to call it, and she's get back to helping Harry. He had, I can't remember exactly what he did, but he somehow got afflicted with the same isotope that Peter did, and so he was transforming into a version of the Lizard as well. And that was how he's kind of becoming Green Goblin. But they, so she gets pulled in by Matt Murdock and some people he's teamed up with to try and find a cure for Harry so that he's not running around rampant as the Lizard. Realize that when they exposed the isotope used to create Spider-Gwen's powers to what was essentially the Lizard serum, it makes it creates Venom, essentially. And they're trying to pressure Gwen into bonding with it so that, it stabilizes her powers and that she, they tell her, it'll cure Harry as well. So she goes trying to hunt him down and runs into Wolverine and Shadowcat, this universe's version of them. And Wolverine is essentially, I was a little disappointed because has been really good at is and artistic takes on classic Marvel characters and just putting this totally different spin on it, like we saw with Black Cat, with Captain America, Matt Murdock, just really completely different characterizations and depictions of these people. But Wolverine was essentially very much the same what you would expect. He was a samurai, and he was approached by Weapon X and turned into what he is. So there's little difference there. But anyway, he and Shadowcat are fighting over a bounty that was placed on Harry because he's running around with the afflicted by the Lizard serum. And so Gwen has to convince Harry to take the cure and push forward. So
okay, what's your grade on that book, you think?
For Spider-Gwen, I would say the most recent 2 issues where things got back on track, I would give it about an average of B.
Okay.
There's not too much.
I think when they lose the artist, we're going to be in trouble. What do you think?
Definitely. It's the style, the really distinctive style, and the coloring is what helps this book stand out.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely it needs the art as well.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else on the panel reading Spider-Gwen?
I read the Cross. It's not a bad book. Here's the thing. I think to kind of dovetail you guys' point you just made on the art. This is to me the same problem that Ultimate Spider-Man had. As soon as Bagley left, it was not Ultimate Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that we're going to run into that with Spider-Gwen. Ironically enough, her dating Miles creates that. So I don't know, man. I feel bad for fans of this character because I feel like that it's starting to find its footing again, and it's just that crossover stuff. And honestly, because of the delays, I think the momentum of the book has been very, very. The momentum has been killed.
JR, the YouTube chat is saying you're too quiet. Do you care about Spider-Gwen?
I read the first 4 or 5 issues and was somewhat interested, but then dropped it. Well, one reason I haven't read the books and other people have, and I'm letting them talk. There's no reason to talk over them. I've had my say, so.
Yeah. All right. I think that's all your books, Ashley, isn't it?
That's right.
Okay. George, renew your vows. What do we got, sir?
All right, so this is Renew Your Vows number 7 by Conway and Stegman. Wolverine and Spidey fend off an attack by Magneto's new Brotherhood, and Spidey stops Wolverine from killing Miss Mistress, who doesn't even have an M on her costume.
Yeah.
Which was a little weird for me. It was like an R or something, or I don't know.
She almost looked like the female version of Avalanche or something.
She did, didn't she? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, with the mask and everything.
Mhm.
But Miss Mistress with a different letter on her name, on her suit.
She's Eminem. She'd be Eminem.
Sure, right. So meanwhile, while that's going down, MJ and Cyclops, who are outside, fend off an attack from the Blob. And Annie tries to talk some sense to Jubilee before deciding to get Shine to safety and help her father and Wolverine. Jubilee goes after Annie to stop her, but Annie turns to the table and takes Jubilee out. Another psychic attack from the White Queen takes down Wolverine, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler, who had joined in at some point, leaving the Parkers to face Emma and Magneto. While Spidey and Annie argue about her, excuse me, about her continuing the fight, Mary Jane takes out Magneto and Emma like in one go, like in one punch. Basically, Peter and MJ decide not to send Annie to Xavier School, and Magneto, his Brotherhood, and Jubilee get carted off to the raft. And as the story closes, Liz decides to get involved in her son's new fixation on Annie. In review, I gave this one a B.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. You want to do the whole thing where everybody talks about it?
No, it's fine. We'll talk. Open it up. I think everybody's read this issue.
I had, you know me. I love Mary Jane. I don't necessarily want to see Mary Jane taking down the White Queen and Magneto with one punch.
Yeah, I was the same. I thought the same thing.
That that was, oh boy, that was jarring. I was like, no, this isn't the thing that should happen ever.
Now, in fairness, though, I think the idea was that since Emma was controlling Magneto telepathically, that all Mary Jane had to do was basically punch Emma, and then that knocked both her and Magneto out. But
but it's still too easy for someone who hasn't even been doing a superhero thing that long.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was like, oh, that's a bit too. It was a bit too much, and it was just abrupt.
They probably would have spent more of the issue with that fight if they didn't speed it along. I'm probably wondering if it was for pacing.
I mean, the rest of the issue was fine. It's just at that point, I was like, whoa, really?
Yeah.
That was weird. So that brought it down for me to a B.
It's Michael Reed says it's like MJ versus Firelord.
Right? Basically.
Oh, that's funny. So you gave it a B. Anybody else enjoying the book? I'm enjoying it.
I enjoyed it. It's just that ending was what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read it. I mean, it was fine. I mean, B minus. It was enjoyable. I mean, this is a fun book. It's never going to be a award winner, probably, but I think it'll be enjoyable for as long as it lasts.
Right. Let's see. That's your only book, isn't it? I guess it's my turn, isn't it? I've got 2 books that we're going to talk about. The first one is Spider-Man 2099, issue number 23, written by our friend Peter David, who Zach just did an interview with, and Will Sliney continuing. Basically, the book is an event, some sort of event destroys Miguel's version of 2099. And he's found that the date that it all goes to heck is May 15th, 2019. So Miguel finds a way to jump to that portal, and he lands in some rubble, which reminds me of like Amazing 33 when he's lifting up the rubble, which, you know what? Since we are on YouTube, it looks like right there. See? Okay. And he is in the future, and Parker Industries is destroyed. So evidently, gang, we have to wait until 2019 for Parker Industries to just be destroyed. So we have 2 more years of Peter Stark. So he goes around. Miguel's looking for something that causes a disturbance in Times Square. He's cloaked. And what does he see in Times Square? Something that JR has seen in Times Square, which is someone dressed in a Spider-Man suit. Only this is classic 2099 in Times Square.
So this is essentially what's happening right now there, Brad?
Oh, yeah. Here, you have to talk. Let's see the props.
And so I've got old 2099 versus a new 2099. So there you go.
He's playing with his
more or less what's happening right now.
Yeah. So he stumbles across 2099 Doc Ock. 2099 Venom is also in Times Square. And who is holding the Tyler? Tyler is holding the MacGuffin, if you will, that's going to destroy the universe. And what happens to Tyler? He's stabbed in the back by the other Spider-Man 2099 wearing the classic suit, not the white suit. B- out of me. I'm going to miss this book when it's gone. I like 2099 a lot. I like Peter David. I think the only downfall is tied to Parker Industries so much. I didn't really care for that. So, anybody else reading 2099 at the moment?
I will say this: it's a good book. I just hate that we're losing 2099 because Peter David's doing Ben Reilly. Peter David in that interview, which is the latest episode of Clone Saga Chronicles, by the way.
Plug.
That in that particular episode, I specifically asked him about 2099. He said no comment. So because it has not been solicited since I think July. I think we're under the impression that it's done.
The alternative theory, which I have, is I don't know how many issues if you add up this previous one and this one, and you add up Volume 1 from the 90s. If that magic number equals 100, I could see it coming back at that point when they do the classic renumbering.
Oh, that'd be interesting. That's interesting.
I mean that's
somebody on our YouTube page start doing the math.
Yes, someone on YouTube add these numbers up. Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. How many numbers does that equal? There's like
because math is hard.
Wasn't there 47 issues of the first volume?
I thought it was more than that.
46.
46.
Okay, so 46.
So there's your algebra equation. A equals 46 plus B equals... Here, I'm going to wait for the YouTube channel to answer this question.
Get cracking.
Get cracking, YouTube channel. Okay,
this is a family show.
This is the other book I'm going to review. It's Venom. Speaking of adding up all the numbers, how is that for a segue?
Yeah.
Venom number 150. How much did Uncle Brad spend on this one? $6. Look at this, $6 on this one.
At least it was less than Amazing 25.
Visual aids.
Hey,
and you probably got as much stuff.
Real quick, Brad. This is important from chat.
Okay.
Andrew Weir said, George, you've cheered me up so much over the years. Always look forward to your input every month. Cheers. Suck it, JR.
This just into the YouTubes. Okay.
I never liked Andrew anyway.
So if you read the previous issue, which was issue 6, they go from issue 6 to 150.
Yeah.
So, we have an answer. 81 issues of 2099. There you go. So the previous issue, Eddie Brock got the costume back from, I forget his name. Zach, do you remember his name?
Lee Price.
Mike, there you go. Lee Price.
Yeah. Lee Price
had the book for all of 6 issues and then gave it to Eddie Brock. So Eddie Brock is walking around and say, hey, I've got the suit. I missed you. No, I've missed you. Drink in the moonlight. Let's go out. I'm not making that dialogue up. So Eddie goes and he starts swinging around. He breaks up a bank robbery. And the art's kind of cool in this book. There's the bank robbers have a tomato and a look at this.
It's like an anti-gravity tomato holder.
Anti-gravity tomato. That's just kind of odd. Anyway, so Eddie breaks up that robbery, and then he just happens to go to the Bell Tower Church, where he originally got the suit, and he sees a couple punks that they're going to mess with the church, and he says, "Not here, you kids." So he beats up, he scares off the bad guys, and there happens to be a priest there. So Eddie talks about being away from a long friend and etc. And then he walks outside of the church, and the new Scorpion starts attacking him and says,
"Well, actually, it's the old Scorpion in a new suit."
Yeah, it's Max Gargan.
Yeah.
And he says, the people of Alchemex told me you're around here, so let's fight. So they do.
Did you just say Max Gargan?
He did.
Mac. no, I'm sorry, Mac.
And you call yourself a Spider fan.
I'm so sorry, Mac Gargan. Sorry. So Eddie outwits Mac Gargan, and he goes back into the church. He's kind of bleeding, and actually, no, he's not bleeding. He notices blood, and the priest dies at the end.
Well, that's because the symbiote took over while Eddie was knocked out and took care of the priest for him.
Oh, he did. Oh, I didn't. I forgot about that. Yeah. So the symbiote killed the priest, huh?
Yeah, because he was trying to protect Eddie, basically, because it's kind of gone insane, even more so than usual.
Symbiote has gone insane.
Yeah.
The other story in this is about how Flash Thompson lost a suit. Let's see. He was shot with, let's see.
It's like some Sonic.
Always the Sonics. Anyway, he can't take it, and Flash is like, come on, get back on me, buddy. And he runs off.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes into the sewer, and that's when he meets up with Lee Price. So the symbiote just essentially ran away. And then we have a backup by David Michelinie and Ron Lim, who had some art on the various Venom miniseries. And Michelinie wrote the very first miniseries, Lethal Protector.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's a name from back in the past, man. Ron Lim.
Ron Lim. Yep. I liked Ron Lim back in the day. If you notice, like on marketing stuff, like on children's books, etc., Ron Lim does a lot of the Marvel children's books along with Todd Knock. So I've always liked this stuff.
Oh man,
so
my 90s itch just got scratched really hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I think, help me out with this, because it's been a couple weeks since I've read it, Mike. He's basically working in the mall. Is that right?
Well, he's planning on going to get Spider-Man, but he's going to try to do that by, he says, okay, I'm going to let these, like, another group of robbers rob the mall, and then Spider-Man will show up. But again, he figures, I gotta basically go after these guys.
I have to be the lethal protector. Yeah.
And then there's something about there's a security guard that he initially saves, but then the security guard then tries to basically says, there's a point where he's trying to, like, he's scared of Venom. He says, take this innocent woman instead. And so Eddie kills the security guard, because he figures, you're not really an innocent after all. Right. And so then the issue ends with, like, it's our adversity makes us stronger. Yeah, it's a very 90s kind of throwback story, pretty much.
It was very forgettable, I hate to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was okay. One thing I thought was interesting, they did the math for the how they hit issue 150. All the various miniseries from the 90s into the 2000s.
Yep.
And I have
by the way,
actually.
By the way,
the
order of those miniseries is actually wrong.
Oh, it is.
Yes, because I was looking up some of the stuff for on, like, I guess when they do the Marvel Wiki thing, and they actually do have those miniseries in the proper order when they came out, and whoever put those covers together put them in the wrong order. So
that's something that Geek would notice. That's funny.
Yeah.
The chat room. Ron Lim is cool, but I'm not a fan of the way he draws faces. Ron Lim drew the last half of Infinity Gauntlet. Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Lim had a run on Sonic the Hedgehog. I did not know that. Ron Lim is an example of good 90s art.
Mm-hmm. Everybody had a run on Sonic. JR was the artist on Sonic at one point.
I think Stephen Butler also had a pretty lengthy run on Sonic before he went to his new Archie stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. We're going to take a break. I think that's all the satellites. I think I'm going to leave the stream up and tuck my girl in, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. Does that sound good?
That's fine.
Okay. Hi, baby Crawlspace.
She can't hear you, but George says hello. Say hello to everybody. There you go. All right. YouTube channel, we'll be back in 10, okay?
Okay. So the stream's going to stay up?
Yeah, let's keep the stream up. I don't know what happens when I hit stop broadcast. I might end it and lose everybody.
I'm gonna hang around and stop. Yeah, don't end the stream.
Okay.
Yeah, don't do that. I'll sit around and talk to everybody.
We're all going to use the restroom. We'll be back in just a few. Okay.
Okay.
So hey, chat room.
Hey.
Are there any things like non-Spidey related you want to talk to us about in the interim while we're waiting?
Well, I got to see what they're actually saying here.
George, you had to talk to me about your studio movie grill experience.
Oh, okay. So Studio Movie Grill, piss on them. Because, excuse me, we're not supposed to talk like that. Excuse me.
No.
I don't enjoy their service anymore. So at some point in the since the last time I went there, which has been 2 weeks, and between then and when I saw Wonder Woman last night, they went. They used to have, you could get a large popcorn for $7. It was like a big thing, right? And then you could get a free refill on that. But now they've taken away the refill, and it's just $7. It's just $7 for one thing of popcorn, and you don't get the free refill anymore, like you do literally anywhere else on Earth. And I saw this.
I've gotten a refill on popcorn.
Oh yeah, like the one that here does it all the time. And so I was very nonplussed, and I sent a very angry email. It was strongly worded, and I said, all you've done is ensure that I will never buy popcorn there again. And honestly, I'll probably just start going to AMC from here on out, or Cinemark or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's BS, man. Screw them. They screw you at the SMG, man.
Yeah, I've never actually gotten their popcorn because I'm like, hey, I can get pizza.
Well,
and
don't start now. I usually get the coconut chicken tenders, and then I get the popcorn, but no more.
They'll put a giant strawberry
right now,
in front of me. I
have seen firsthand when George is upset with service. Like they don't. He's kind of as unforgettable as he is with our podcast. Like we went to lunch the other day, and apparently they had messed up his order before we went there. And let me tell you, they remembered him. like they're like, oh yes, Mr. Berryman. We'll make sure that everything is just as you like it, Mr. Berryman. And I'm like, what the hell?
It's simple. Man. If you're a waiter or if you're wait staff of any kind, write the order down, read it back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, just do it.
Yeah.
And the chances of you screwing the order up drop astronomically. That way I don't get beans anywhere within visible sight, and I don't have to kill someone.
like do not get
on many
beans
sides of that scenario.
What, Ashley?
I've been on many sides of the order taking scenario, and oh boy, it can get messy.
Who is eating their mic?
That would be JR.
Hey,
It's not me this time.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Mask.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What's awesome?
Oh, some stuff.
JR just kind of gobbling down.
Oh my lord. JR talks so you can get full screen so I can see you.
This is what happens when you leave him alone.
Whoa! Wow, the YouTube channel is going nuts with that.
There you go, YouTubers. There's some nightmare fuel for you.
Yes.
Now,
this is what JR does on the weekend.
I had to point out for a second when Brad started talking about Venom 150.
Yeah.
Of Eddie Brock becoming Venom again. I had to break out.
Oh,
Eddie Brock on the mic.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what I meant to do? I meant to do props when I was doing that. I had this.
I thought we were allowed to do props.
George made that rule. I didn't. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, while we're on here,
there you go. Look at that.
This is the last time I took a lot of flack for not having Spider-Man stuff in my background, for just having a bottle of acetaminophen. I took a lot of flack when we did our little. So now I've got. You can't really see them because my layer is not well lit.
I noticed that earlier. It looks cool. I love that. Alex. I've got that too.
I've got the Bowen Spidey statue, and I've got for Ashley. And this is just, I'll try to rotate these out every now and then, like when we're recording. This is the Bowen Black Cat.
Oh, that's great.
I love it.
And this is because JR is going to be on. This is the Bowen Goblin bust.
Mm-hmm.
right there.
And nothing for Zach.
No, Zach can suck it. And this is the Bowen Peter Parker.
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
And
Isn't
yeah,
that
That's my avatar on the message.
And
on
this
the boards.
this is a Spider-Man piggy bank.
Oh, it's
Marvel put out a lot of piggy bank stuff. Like I guess like 2 years ago or so maybe.
I think Jack has the Venom one, not at our apartment. It's back at his mom's, but.
And there was a Thor and like a Thanos, but I bought, of course, which one did I buy? Spidey.
Yep.
So there you go.
Now,
Now, everybody who took issue with who showed umbrage during the test footage that we did several days ago, does that make up for my transgression for only having a bottle of acetaminophen back there, which which Brad was obsessed about?
It's not about size, but
I have that
about size.
I have that same bust in my closet, and I have nowhere to put it.
you just keep Spider-Man's severed head in your.
Yeah.
This thing is huge. Here, let me just put it right here.
So wait a minute, is the head bigger than yours, Brad?
It's life size.
And
okay.
It seems impossible, doesn't it, McNulty?
Hey, look, it's the Kingpin and Spider-Man right there together in the same room.
Spider-Man. Okay, hold on. Since we're doing bus.
Don't show us yours.
I actually have that exact same one, George. Look. See?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I love that one.
What?
This is one George does not have. The Bagley bust.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, I love that one. Oh, those big old eyes. And this I had to get. It's Ramita Senior's Face It Tiger pose.
Nice.
It even says Face It Tiger. You hit the jackpot.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I don't have any Black Cat, Ashley.
And I
Okay.
get rid of the
Remember who did, Ashley. Remember who did and represented it for you.
I don't. Okay.
Look at.
I'm kind of.
I don't have any figures, but
Okay.
this is our picture from. I don't know if anyone can see us. It's our picture from Universal,
Oh yeah, that's cool.
and this is the Spider-Man who thought Black Cat was Storm. Remember that face?
Oh yeah.
I remember it well.
Now, actually, I have
Pretty
Spider-Gwen.
cool.
I have Spider-Gwen here. I wish they would make a Black Cat pop so I would get her.
I think we also need to show off our.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I think we need to show off our shirts, by the way, because I've got a Marvel shirt on that has
Oh, nice.
Spider-Man in it.
Oh yes.
I thought he was going to pull his shirt up for a moment.
I'm rocking the ASM 301 cover here. And Ashley, talk so we can see your shirt.
Loud noises. Come on, grant me the power.
Yay!
There you are. Cool, nice. Black Cat. JR, you have Goblin shorts on. Let's see.
This is
You don't
terrifying.
want to see those.
Is it a Mad Goblin?
Real quick. I'm sorry. Go ahead, JR. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I was about to say, you don't want to see anything that's inside an old man's shorts. That's for sure.
Oh my gosh, stop.
Okay, now real quick before I forget, this is very important now because this came up back a year ago when I had my appendix, but there was this conspiracy theory that Ashley and I were the same person. Proven false.
Yes.
Proven false. Here we both are on cam at the same time. Now let's see you spin that.
Enigma, you have a Mountain Dew question for me. What is it, sir? Let's see JR's shorts as someone. Hornacek wants to see JR's shorts. Wow. We're up to 42 viewers. They must really want to see JR.
Oh boy.
Wow.
So, Bernardo
Ashley is a hologram. Quick.
Hologram. I'm a hologram. Real quick. Bernardo Noguera was asking me, "Hey Ash, do you ship Peter with Felicia?" About that. Not current Peter. Better.
Probably not current Felicia either. Actually, at this point.
Yeah, neither one are
He's just
on.
going through a hard time. It's a phase. To grow out of it.
Have I tried Dew SA? I have not. That's where they mix Code Red and white Mountain Dew and blue Mountain Dew, I think. I have not. Ashley is Facade. That's awesome. Actually, you probably don't remember this, but the mystery of who is Facade from the '90s was never solved.
Oh.
It was the story in Web of Spider-Man that it was immediately was before the Clone Saga.
Right
And
before the Clone Saga.
The teasers on the Clone Saga was more interesting than the actual finale of that story.
Yep.
True.
Well,
That was when
apparently
Terry Kavanaugh was.
Black Cat. Okay.
Okay, let me get my notes up for the news.
All right.
Okay. What should we start with? We should start with the trailer, Zach. Let's start with you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, YouTube channel, are you ready? We're about to go on show 2.
Woo.
Yay!
All right, coming down 3, 2. Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our news segment. We're going to tackle a bit of spider news now. We've got several new trailers out. Zach, tell me what we see in them. What are you thinking of them?
Well, to be exact, we have 2. Now,
Okay.
if you're including TV spots, I didn't watch all those. So
Well, there's one about
third,
the NBA or something with Stan Lee in it.
Well, there's one without Stanley with the NBA where it's just.
Yeah, I saw that one too. There's a lot of them out there now. The movie comes out. In a
well,
month.
because the NBA finals are on ABC. Marvel Studios is owned by Disney. ABC is owned by Disney. It's all about corporate synergy at this point. That's why. So, and the ESPN staff is calling the NBA finals. So, a lot of convoluted alphabet soup. But anyway, we have a brand new final trailer version, which has amongst its highlights a brand new version of Jarvis because you demanded it. We also have a bit of
And you can see what I'm doing right now with that.
Everybody's face bombing.
Yeah.
We have some new footage, a little bit more of the Tony Stark conversation here and there. The international trailer is almost entirely of new footage.
Oh yeah.
The international trailer has like a found footage part of Peter Parker during the Civil War cameo. We have John Favreau saying, him in a hotel room saying, "The walls are very thin here."
Yep. That was pretty good.
And then we have, of course, 100% seems like more Vulture in the international trailer. We get more into Vulture's motivations. We get into his conflict with Spider-Man. We get to see, for a very brief time, the spider parachute. I had that in the 90s when Toy Biz made it. It was great. was amongst many of the toys that they came out with back in the day. I mean, Spider-Man had like a web sack, red web sack, and the parachute was red. It was awesome.
Does it come out of the spider?
You guys went dirty there.
Does it come out of the spider on his back? Is that where the parachute is?
That's not where the web sack is. That's for sure.
Oh, God.
We also in the American trailer found out there's like 515 different types of webs because reasons. We also find out in the trailers that there is a training wheels feature. We heard this. I believe it was an on-set report. I think McNulty, you talked about this a few months back.
Basically that's where the AI thing came out of, was actually those set reports. And so it's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to actually see it on camera and in action. And it's just like, that was one of those things where it's just like, okay, you've gone way overboard with the Teen Tony bit on Peter Parker.
Straight up and honest on this. If you watch the international trailers of this movie, I think most people would be excited about it. The American trailers have ruined this movie for a lot of people. It is insane how good the international trailers look and how American trailers look.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing Tony Stark up too much in the American trailers, and I think that's going to be. And I understand why they're doing that, because they have to feel like, oh, he's their big, big showing that it's crossing over with the MCU. But at the same time, you still got to remember this is supposed to be Spider-Man's movie, not like Iron Man 4.
The most recent poster confused a lot of viewers whose movie this was. It's almost like Sony had a checklist. I need X, Y, Z, ABC all in this poster. So the designers like cut, paste, cut, paste, cut,
I will admit that there's been several posters throughout the MCU's history. Anybody remember that Black Widow poster that made her look like she was like a size -2?
Yeah.
Not even a 0. I mean, so look, I like me some Scarlett Johansson, but I like some meat on my Scarlett Johansson's bones. Just saying.
So what did everybody else think of the trailer?
I was gonna say I've got a story for y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
But so what I think Jack and I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yes.
We saw the new trailer for it then. The one where we all know the city the ship together it's falling apart. And that's supposed to be kind of his big moment in the that Tobey Maguire stopping the train all by himself was his big moment. So it's kind of supposed to be a nod to that, the way they were playing it up at least. But no, in this new trailer, who should we see come flying around and pushing that ship back together? It's Iron Man, and I was flipping off the screen for longer than a woman my age should. So.
Yeah, it's Iron Man saving the day, not Spider-Man. Whose movie is it?
That's a legit beef.
It is.
I was
it is. And another thing that came out was Tom Holland's quote.
Yes.
That I'm not paraphrasing it right, but he talks about how Spider-Man in these movies has a new motivation.
Yes, I've got.
Or you're tackling that one, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got the full quote. If you want me to read it.
Before we start, I didn't really say anything about the trailer.
I'm sorry, I forgot that we were moving on to that. But go ahead, George.
No, but just real quick, everything that I've said about the trailer that everybody's been like, no context and no, this is just the first trailer. You don't know. It could be completely different. Thanks, Brad. All of that has been proven now. All of that is playing out before our eyes. And we'll talk a little bit more about this when McNulty covers what Holland
This is exactly what George has been wanting to do this entire movie.
What are you drinking, Zach?
That would be Crown. And because
you know what's
you can't have.
You know what's funny? Your microphone improved when you started drinking.
When I start partaking of the alcohol, it starts getting better.
Oh man, my goodness!
It looked like a bottle of Aqua Velva Musk.
Yeah, JR, what did you think of the trailer? The trailer is plural.
I really haven't liked these trailers at all, and I'm tired of it's like they're trying to beat us over the head that yes, he's a teenager this time. Yes, he's a teenager this time. Look how cool he is. He's young. He's hip. Blah 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 blah. I was talking about earlier, I think when it was just us, I'm just going to wait to see the movie and then judge the movie because these trailers just depress me more and more every time I see them.
The only thing that looks good is Keaton.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Michael Keaton looks great.
Keaton is going to. I think George is absolutely right. Keaton is going to steal this movie.
Yeah.
That's a shame because I think Tom Holland makes a great Spider-Man, but
yeah, he does.
And it's just the team behind the camera that's just not going to make this happen.
Yeah.
So
the sad thing is,
another great actor is going to kind of. So.
I think the Russo brothers get Spider-Man so much more than what Sony does, because the Russo brothers in 15 minutes sold everybody on Tom Holland, and they're going to be directing him in Civil War. I think we're going to see the Spider-Man that we know and love in the Civil War. I'm not entirely sure we're going to see that in this movie. That's the
Civil War.
You mean Infinity War?
Infinity War. Yeah. Sorry, not
2016.
I asked the YouTube channel. I said, "What did you guys think of the trailer?" It's terrible. It looks like Iron Man 4. They spoiled too much. I think Vulture looks awesome. It's nice to have an MCU villain steal the show. For once, I think we've seen too much. The actual Spidey action scenes look awesome. Spider-Man is Inspector Gadget. What do you think of the multiple 100 and some odd web shooter combinations?
Yeah.
That is asinine.
Yeah.
Okay. Asinine.
Yeah.
There should be there should be a I hate to say this, spray like a spread out version of the webs. You can even do impact webs. I'm okay with that. Parker, invent all these. Don't have Tony Stark hold this dude's hand. Are you kidding me?
The Lord President says incarcerated buttocks. It looks like.
You
Oh,
did.
prison. I get it. Prison.
This is
I didn't get it at first. That was
Incarcerated.
awesome.
this is something that I said when we were doing our Google Hangout, when we did our test originally several
Yeah.
days ago. I said that as bad as the Mark Webb movies were, the Amazing Spider-Man reboot films 1 and 2,
Mhm.
especially number 2, because God,
Yeah.
as bad as they were, we're faced now with the reality that they are going to be closer to what Spider-Man actually should be than what we're about to get.
Well,
Yeah.
just imagine, folks. The next time we record a podcast, we'll have seen the movie.
God help us all.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to see. We'll have some pros. I guarantee it. I think there'll be pros.
Yeah, Michael
So-
Keaton.
Like,
I can already tell.
yeah. All right. Well, let's go to Mike about that quote that Tom Holland had. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay,
That's
so he was,
interesting.
so he was, I guess, doing an interview with Yahoo Movies, and they did like a live Facebook Q&A when he said this. So he was asked about kind of like what his Peter's motivation is. In the,
Uh-oh.
Oh, Mike's froze.
What you're we've got to wait for
his goal is to become an Avenger.
There he is. There he is.
Mike, repeat
Yeah.
everything you said because it was lagged out.
Okay, I think the difference is that now that Peter Parker finds he has an all-time goal. His goal is to become an Avenger. Everything he does, even though he is doing it for the right reasons, is done so that one day he can maybe become an Avenger and prove himself to Tony Stark. We've never really seen Spider-Man with that kind of motivation before.
So
Yeah,
I said this when we were doing a private chat. I said that Peter's motivation is to avenge Uncle Ben, not to be an Avenger.
Right.
And the goal of the hero is being lost a bit when his sole motivation is to be an Avenger, not to avenge his uncle's death, which he calls.
Well, you can kind of, I think that from this, I can kind and if you base it off of the trailers that we've seen, you can kind of tell now where this is going to go. Peter is going to be like, again, he's motivated to become Avenger, impress Tony Stark, but then by the end of the movie, when he's fighting the Vulture in his original shabby costume and original web shooters and everything, Tony Stark's going to be like all impressed and say, hey, you know what? You've earned your spot. And then Peter goes, well, thanks, Mr. Stark. But you know what? I realize that if I'm going to be a hero, I got to do it on my own. And so that's going to be, so that's what that whole arc is going to be. So that all that stupid little Spider-Man tech thing, it's going to be all that stuff about how Peter really realizes, oh, I get to be my own hero without having
Here's
Tony
a question to the YouTube chatters watching us live now, and also the panelists. Will the name Uncle Ben be mentioned in this movie?
Good question.
I think it has to be, but I don't know now.
Honestly, I don't think.
Should we take
Did you lose George's audio?
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear
okay.
you.
I guess my video's just lagging. I saw your mouth moving and nothing coming out. Okay, but yeah, I kind of think we might not hear anything about Uncle Ben because I feel like they're, in the movies, the Uncle Ben story has been done twice now, so they might want to be trying to avoid that to just avoid, audience fatigue.
He wasn't mentioned hardly at all in ASM2. He wasn't. I don't think he wasn't mentioned in Civil War. I don't think.
No.
Let's see.
No.
If it's Hornacek, if it is, it'll be as important as Uncle Ben was mentioned in ASM2. Hands will be thrown if they don't, says Lord President.
Yeah.
It better be. Probably not, because it takes away from the supposed Breakfast Club comedy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Probably not. The rice will be good. The Uncle Ben rice. It's Michael Reed. Very good for that one on our YouTube chat. Very nice. Okay, let's look at our other topics. Oh, we're gonna stick with movie news. Ashley, you've got a title for your team up movie. What's it called, girl?
Okay.
She's sighing.
Silver and Black.
Oh, we're going to do
Alright.
a film about the Oakland Raiders?
All right, Ashley, tell me about Silver and Black. What do you think of that title?
So, it's garbage. This is all garbage. Pretty much in Sony's latest attempt to test the limits of my patience and break my heart, they announced that they're going to. They've already got plans in the works for making a Black Cat Silver Sable team up, girl power. Who the F cares movie? That will be like the previously announced Venom title, completely unrelated to Spider-Man. So it will apparently be. They're claiming it will be directed by Gina Prince Bythewood.
Mm-hmm.
I probably messed it up. I'm sorry.
We'll
Who
wait
directed
until she calls to correct us.
The Secret Life of Bees, which, yes, that I can see the connection. She said.
Ooh, Michael Reed suggests that Felicia and Sable will be sisters.
Stop.
Oh,
Shutting down the stream. Stop it. Ruined it.
So what's the plot? I think they gave a little bit of plot out, or there's talk of a plot.
There's rumors of a plot.
There's rumors of a plot. What's the rumors of a plot? Have we heard about
this thing? Yeah. The supposed other characters that are
Zach,
in this movie,
tell us what
mean?
Go ahead,
Okay,
Zach.
so we got.
That's kicked, man. He's wound up, gang. He's wound up.
we got the Chameleon showing up for reasons. Right? He's apparently the antagonist. No, it can't be Spider-Man that is going to be fighting the Chameleon. No. We have to have the Silver and Black. Oh my goodness. Yay! I'm about to go with Alex Jones Super Saiyan on this crap. This is BS, man.
And they've got Kraven allegedly in the film too.
Kraven, what the hell?
Oh God.
What was in that bottle that Zach was drinking from?
Oh my
goodness.
God.
And isn't Sable going after Black Cat like it's a chase road movie or something?
Oh, so yay, we're gonna get a heist movie. That's just what we demanded. Nobody demanded this. Who wants this but Sony?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the rumor of that supposedly jackpots in this film too.
Oh God!
What? I haven't heard jackpots in it. Right, now you're making things up, dude.
No, I'm not.
Zach is
again, this comes from superheromovies.com, so who knows how this is.
Because that's a reputable source. I mean,
So, Ashley, is there any faith, since you've heard that, since we last recorded, you've learned the title, you've kind of learned that there's a little bit of plot. Are you excited at all, Ashley?
God. I don't know if there's enough tequila on the face of this world to make me ready for that movie.
This is what they've been drinking this entire time. I'll cover most of the
YouTubers are saying you're off your meds, and Michael Reed suggests that Silver and Black are chasing the gibbon.
Again, here's the thing. Why on God's green Earth?
And the big wheel.
Why on God's green Earth are two of the most important Spider-Man villains? I mean, yeah, if you're going to have Kraven, you got to have Chameleon because they are so intrinsically intertwined with each other. But why do this in a spin-off movie? Why not save these characters for, I don't know, Spider-Man?
I envision that we'll have a similar cameo by Tom Holland, kind of like Ben Affleck was in Suicide Squad.
Wait a minute, though. From my understanding,
into the whole Ultimate Spider-Man thing where it was awkward and she was later than him.
But I was under the understanding this was supposed to be kind of like a Spider-Man cinematic universe without Spider-Man in it.
Yeah.
Because that's supposedly what's happening with Venom.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. We're getting a Venom movie without Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh. I mean, settle down, Zach. Okay, chill.
Whoever's doing this particular thing in Sony, they're a menace to society.
Where's my
Amy Pascal?
Hold on. Okay, talk.
Give me some pictures now.
Okay, there you go. All right. George has been extra quiet about the Silver and Black movie. Let me hear it from George.
I I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
This is for me. It's still in the same ballpark as the whole Venom movie.
Well,
And,
we'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah, and I'm like, dude, I'll believe it when I'm actually seeing pictures from the set.
Yeah.
That's when I'll believe that it's actually happening.
JR, any thoughts on Silver and Black?
Well, one of those supposed names that is supposed to show up in this alleged movie is Norman Osborn. Actually, isn't it like the Mendelstrom? I wish I could find that link, but like Mendelstrom, and ultimately it's Norman Osborn who's writing the checks for everything. So I almost wonder if this is true. And again, this like I think George is right. We'll believe it when we see it. If this is true, it does sound in a way like Sony might be trying to load up as many characters as they can so that they can't be used in the MCU universe.
It's just garbage.
Which I would not be surprised to see that happen.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody said to me that this proves that they're moving forward with this movie and that this is going to be happening. I'm going to parrot what George said, and I'm also going to dovetail off of a point that I made last month or 2 months ago, whenever we recorded this. This is still Sony trying to make themselves look good. That's all this is. Without these movies, there is nothing left for Sony other than the emoji movie. That is what their hopes and dreams on.
Ashley was going to say something. Go ahead, Ashley.
Yes, I'd say the only way this movie could be saved is if you pile all the Spider-Man characters, the Spider-Man universe characters into the Wabby, and then have them all take on Sony, the ultimate villain. Take down Amy Pascal.
That would be the
Phil Sable and Black Cat versus Amy Pascal.
Amy Pascal is the Thanos of the Sony.
We have a question for George from Lord President.
Oh, yes.
If Silver and Black turns out to be in the Smokey and the Bandit verse, would you see it?
No. And different studios, thank God.
See, initially when I heard the first title Silver and Black, I was thinking, okay, somebody's going to make a reference to like, oh, it's the Lone Ranger's horse and the Black Stallion team up.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a ridiculous title if that's what they're going for. And how much you want to make a bet that they won't even call Silver Sable or Black Cat Silver Sable or Black Cat. They'll just probably they'll just refer to them by their real names or something. So.
Well, moving on, we've got one more bit of movie news. And JR, since you love Venom so much, I gave this one to you.
Okay. This is the time of the show where Uncle JR dips into one of his boxes.
Oh, okay.
Whoa. All right.
Get ready.
All right.
Show and tell.
First of all, this is the box of things I give a crap about. Okay. Now, originally, you noticed what I said, but then Brad said we couldn't cuss. So this is the things I give a crap about. All right. This is the box of things I don't give a crap about. Box 1 of 6. We open the box of things I don't give a crap about. We rustle in here. Whoa! Oh, look, Tom Hardy to star in Venom. Ruben Fleischer to direct. Okay. Yes, indeed. Tom Hardy, who riveted audiences as Shinzon in Star Trek Nemesis, will star in Sony's long-awaited Spider-Man movie Venom instead of Spider-Man without Spider-Man movie Venom.
He was born in the darkness.
JR, real quick. Michael Reed says JR is a passive-aggressive PBS specialist.
That's accurate. That's how he rolls on the daily, bro.
Go ahead, JR. Go ahead.
Well, if you saw the very first video one we did, I did like Mr. Rogers, so that's probably a fair assessment.
I forgot how much I love your props and your demonstrations. This is funny.
Yeah, this is the one time when props work.
Yeah.
But I don't know other than just reading this story. This is just supposedly the Hardy himself is a huge fan of Venom. He's been photographed he was photographed in a Venom shirt. Apparently this Fleischer guy did a movie called wait a minute.
Fleischer guy?
Fleischer? Yeah.
The hell kind of movie are you talking about, JR?
Talking about the Superman Fleischer.
And look,
film.
Ashley's got the vapors. This is getting Ashley so.
So now we're gonna.
Hey, I'm enjoying it. Give me a break.
We're gonna have vapor snorts. Is that what we're gonna have now?
Best Southern Belle impression since he's from Georgia.
Okay, keep talking about our buddy. Go ahead.
Now there's just. What do I say? I mean, honestly, they just rattle off, well, here's a bunch of names that are going to produce it. Here's who's going to write it. Venom is set to hit theaters on October 5th, 2018. Now, it's only, any movie with Venom would have to be fairly heavy special effects movie. So I'm thinking do they have a full script? Do they have a full story? When are they going to even start filming this thing? That's what surprised me. And then they just talk a bunch of other nonsense. They just say since its inception in '88, Venom has been one of Spider-Man's most popular characters, making it a top priority for the studio to get a movie off the ground. Really? Venom has been a top priority?
Well, it is for Arad.
Okay. Going back even.
Yeah.
Going back all the way to 1998. In Stan's soapbox, when Stan was like, "We're gonna announce all the Marvel Studios stuff," Blade was going to, I think, New Line, and all the very, like, Captain America, I think, was with and Iron Man, all of them were all with other studios. You had X-Men with Fox, and Fantastic Four with Fox. They mentioned Venom in that group. They've been trying to make a Venom movie for 20 years, folks, and they still haven't been able to do it.
Right, you could say the same about Fantastic Four. They've been trying to make a movie of that for about 30, and they still haven't. But,
I didn't hate the first Tim Story movie. It just was dull. That was the only problem with that movie.
I like the second one better than the first one.
Yeah. But really, there's nothing much in here other than just, Tom Hardy's going to be in it. Ruben Fleischer, or whatever the hell his name is, is going to direct it, and it comes out on October 5th, 2018.
I think he posed in a Venom T-shirt on Instagram or Twitter or something like that.
Yeah,
to make the announcement.
Yeah.
So, anybody excited about this?
Somebody point out the irony that Tom Hardy is now playing two characters associated with Venom. Because Bane
used the Venom. Yeah.
But
he thinks the darkness is his ally.
Yes.
He was born in the darkness.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I can kind of guess if it's not going to be associated with Spider-Man, it sounds like it's going to be like Prototype the movie, the video game Prototype, where he kind of had that character there. But yeah, and I can see how they can pull off a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it very easily, and which is kind of scary. So, but
it's going to be John Carpenter's The Thing, and it's going to be released in October, which is always that time of year when you get those really bleeping bad
PG-13 horror films. Yeah,
that's my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
I want to play a game.
Oh, the Saw movies.
17. Yeah, it's like that's when the Saw movies come out, and I think that's when It's coming out. The new version of It that's an improved version of It. It's exactly like the old one, except shot this last year.
I asked the YouTube chat that's watching us live pros of a Venom movie and the cons. Pros, you've got Tom Hardy. Cons, no Spider-Man. Cons, everything else.
Basically, yeah.
Pros, the director. Cons, Sony.
Pros, Hardy's man boobs.
Wow.
Never really considered that.
Con, Venom is a mediocre idiot. Yeah.
Actually, I'm triggered by how sexist you are right now.
Hey, because JR never finished his Venom multi-part Venom series, over on spidey-dude.com, I'm going to give a big shout out to our buddy Big Al. He's been working on this for a long time. He's got a multi-part dissertation of Venom that he has been working on, and he breaks down Venom in a spectacular way. Spectacular, Mike. And
Ninja Worshipper says Tom Hardy is good. Rated R can make for some brutal action scenes we wouldn't see Spidey do with his powers. So I guess you're hoping it's as good as Deadpool, which I suspect it might not be. Mel likes to
put it in Deadpool.
Also, Carnage is going to be in this too.
Oh yeah, guaranteed.
Yeah.
If not, just like at the very end, a little red symbiote.
Venom, Carnage, Silver Sable, Black Cat, all the things without Spider-Man.
Exactly.
You know, really, in a way, the Venom movie makes even less sense than a Silver Sable movie because Silver Sable can exist independent of Spider-Man and can have motives independent of Spider-Man. But Venom as a character, his motives are all tied up in Spider-Man. The symbiote was bonded to Spider-Man. And then, Brock felt that Spider-Man, catching the Sin Eater ruined his career. And then the two bonded together. I mean, Spider-Man is Venom's entire reason for being. So
he's even the black costume kind of personified. I mean, with that whole white symbol thing.
So then how do you have, if you have a Venom movie without Spider-Man, then you really don't have a Venom movie because it's not Venom. It's just it's just a gooey black costume and, worn by Shinzon.
It's prototype the movie but it's not. They're not calling it prototype. Basically.
I like what Kalish Warlord on the YouTube chat said. Venom has a giant spider on his chest.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And something to think of too.
So if they're not associated with Spider-Man, it's not going to. That white symbol might not even be there. It's just going to be this black.
Ornisek says it's like doing a Batman movie and Bruce's parents are still alive.
It's going to have a white skull on it, so people think they're watching Punisher.
No, he'll probably wind up looking like a more cleaned up version of that Tar guy from the Star Trek: The Next Generation that killed Tasha Yar.
Oh, Argus.
The oil slick man. Yeah.
How do I know that?
Wow. Next gen out of the wow. That was cool.
But none of this
really
proves
considered is the average moviegoer. They're going to be confused by this because Spider-Man's a popular enough character and his image is so iconic. If they see Venom come in and he has a spider on his chest and he's obviously visually mirroring Spider-Man, used when no Spider-Man comes in.
Yeah.
So they're just confusing everyone here.
At this point, if anybody's going to try to, unfortunately, I don't think it's deliberate. But everybody keeps asking, when's the superhero bubble going to burst? When's that one bad movie going to come out?
Yeah.
Honestly, these two movies we just talked about could very well do that. And it
Tony's dragging everyone down with them.
Yeah. Well, it's not even Tony.
But here's the thing, though. That if Sony's going to do these the Venoms and Silver and Black thing, that they have not abandoned their plans for Sinister Six.
Yeah.
They may not have abandoned it, but my God, I mean, what?
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
What's the last big superhero movie that bombed? There was Jonah Hex. There was.
You mean critically or box office?
Box office. Well, the Fantastic Four movie. There you go.
Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. Or Fan Four Stick.
That or Iron Fist, I guess, maybe on YouTube.
Oh man, I've got one episode left on that. I'm almost done.
It doesn't pay off, Brad.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, the chat room is pretty unanimous right now. It was Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Fan Four Stick.
Yeah.
Fan Four Stick. That sounds so dirty. Let's see here.
We're keeping it clean.
I know, but I've got a topic I'm going to talk about.
Oh God, brace for impact. Captain Picard to the bridge.
Don't go number 2 on number 1. One of my favorite artists is Ron Friends, and if you're not following him on Facebook, I encourage you to do it because he's been posting a lot of art, a lot of behind-the-scenes art. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time, I've been talking about a lost graphic novel from the 90s that never was released.
It was the 80s, Brad.
No, it was 90s. It was 90s.
Was it early 90s?
1992, I think, is when it came out.
Okay.
Or was supposed to come out. The reason I'm interested in this is because it's got 3 people that are 3 of my favorite Spider people. You've got Peter David was doing the writing. You've got Ron Friends on the pencils and John Romita Sr. inking it. So it's absolutely beautiful images. And if you go to the front page, you can see this on Spider-Man Crawlspace. So the book was called Web of Fortune, a Spider-Man Create Your Own Adventure. And it was going to be a hardback graphic novel. It was, I think, about 60 pages or so. And it was never released. It just got passed on from editor to editor. And friends would do art for it, and the plot would come about, but was never released. And it was back around when the Choose Your Own Adventure books were out.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So this, you would read a chapter. It says if Spider-Man should do X or Y, for X go to this page, for Y go to this page. And I think that sounds kind of cool. I mean, the preview art just looks amazing, with the exception of Arcade, and I hate Arcade. Does anybody like Arcade, the villain?
He's very much a product of his time.
No, Arcade's cool. No, stop. It
Oh!
depends.
Don't like Arcade, man.
It depends.
Him and Mojo, I hate.
No, it depends. Just because Mojo can't play tennis because he got the tiny arms. Look, it depends on it depends on the writer. All of it is dependent on the writer.
I'll give you that, but still.
And no, there have been some great Arcade stories, dude, but they've all been in X-Men.
Yeah, well, no, there was that one about that. There was Arena. I think what was it, Avengers Arena, or by Dennis Hopeless, where he took all those kids to the to like that island thing, and they did kind of their own like little battle royale version.
So there was also for this is for Ashley. There was a Spider-Man Arcade two-parter in Sensational Spider-Man during the Todd DeZago run. This is like 23, 24, I think. That was actually a pretty fun little 2-issue story. So if you like a Black Cat / Spider-Man team up where they fight duplicate robots of themselves, that's the story for you.
Well, the pages were sent into Marvel according to friends, according to his Facebook page. And Romita inked a few, and we just got behind on it. And the pages were never returned to friends, and they were sold on the open market, which kind of sucks for friends. I think that's awful. And Gregory Wright was the Marvel editor-in-chief or editor-in-charge of this book. I'll read you some quotes from him. He said, let me add my 2 cents. I was the editor. Getting pages out of Ron was way easier than getting pages out of John Romita Sr. John was full-time art director at Marvel and retired from being a freelance artist, so it took lots of begging to get him to do the project. Once he started, he realized how much work it was no matter how long of a deadline he had. He tried to get out the project. He really wanted to be able to spend time with family, but my begging kept him doing it. And as you can see from the work he did, it was nothing less than perfect. John's that kind of pro. It has to be done right, and that takes time. Now, getting pages from Ron, that was the problem because he was already penciling Thor. And since that was a monthly book, it had to be done first. So Ron was generally told not to pencil this project in favor of his regular assignment, which was entirely the correct thing to do. And if you see Ron's pencils again, will note that he wasn't about to put anything down on the page that wasn't perfect, especially since John Romita Sr. was inking it. And the main reason this didn't get done was because Marvel never decided it was a priority. They never said, okay, Ron's done with Thor, now finish Web of Fortune. It just gave him the next assignment. And it's a shame because the pages were really awesome, and the idea that Ron and John didn't get their pages back is upsetting. So Ron, no need to apologize. Marvel should have prioritized the project at some point before it fell off the earth. I'm just glad to be one of the folks who got to hold these pages in my hands and look at them whenever I wanted to for as long as I wanted to. Which, I agree, that was just an amazing looking book. And if you remember several podcasts ago, like a couple years ago, I emailed Peter David, I emailed Tom DeFalco. Tom DeFalco at 3 in the morning, which is what I tend to do.
At 3 in the morning.
At 3 in the morning, and DeFalco didn't remember this, and Peter David said, "Hey, man, it's been 20 years." So there's some art up on the front page if you want to see what this graphic novel looks like. It's absolutely beautiful. If you like Peter David, if you like Ron Friends, and you also like John Romita Sr., of course you do. There's one panel in specific, which is the Punisher riding a motorcycle. And it has a sidecar with Aunt May in it, and Mary Jane holding on to the Punisher as the Punisher shoots up at, I guess, the Human Torch or the original Human Torch, and in the background, Namor is fighting the Hulk. I mean, it's beautiful, and I want to know why Mary Jane and Aunt May are riding with the Punisher.
You'll never know. Stop.
I never know. I want to know that story.
Like Peter David's like
that was the one. That was the one question I had when I saw that art when you posted it. I was like, "What the hell is this?"
What? Yeah. I mean, it's just
like I'm sure Peter David asked that question at 3 a.m. Peter David was probably like, "Please lose my email." I'm just guessing.
Now the YouTube chat is talking about the differences between arcade and Toyman. All right.
By the way.
And also, Neil says Aunt May riding with the Punisher should be an ongoing. I agree.
Oh my God! Let's do that.
Those to get those correct issue numbers for
together.
Those correct issue numbers of Sensational Spider-Man were 29 and 30 of Volume 1
of Sensational Spider. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that 2-part Black Cat arcade Spider-Man story.
Oh, I see what you're talking. I thought you were adding up the 2099 numbers from about an hour ago.
No.
Okay, we've got one more topic before we wrap this show up. We're going to talk about Drunk Spider-Man Burglar. I gave this one to George.
By the way, before we get started, I wanted to briefly set the mood.
All right, hit it. Drunk Spider-Man Burglar.
Okay, he's drinking Jack, and that's Tennessee bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, not bourbon, Tennessee whiskey, not Kentucky whiskey.
Well, okay. Here's the problem. They didn't have any Jim Beam at the place I went and got these particular.
Good, because it's crap. All right. So, yeah, basically, some guy, and here's the thing. Brad gives us these topics, and they're like, he says he's always like, bring the funny, the funny here,
bring the funny,
with this topic. The news story says Spider-Man burglar hits a distillery, and really that's all. The dude crawled through a window to get into this place, and the first time apparently the alarm scared him off. That's it. It's not like he was wearing a Spider-Man shirt. There's no Febreze angle here. I have nothing to go on other than this news article said, well, because he went through a window, it's kind of like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm at a loss on how to bring the funny. I mean,
George, would you ever break into a distillery if you needed some whiskey? Would you break in via Spider-Man?
Damn sure wouldn't be in Kentucky. I'll tell you that. I do it in Tennessee. But
we apologize to all our Kentucky listeners for the slight against
Kentucky's a fine state. If it's going to be whiskey, I'm going to drink Jack Daniels, and that's all there is to it.
Well, I mean, is there anything that in your mind you're like, say, if you're a Krispy Kreme fan, would you break into a Krispy Kreme via Spider-Man? What would you break? I guess that's the question. What would you break?
Well, damn
into?
sure it wouldn't be a Krispy Kreme because they kill people. those dudes are strapped, man. They'll put.
Happy National Donut Day, by the way.
Oh yeah, it is. It is. All right, JR. Any thoughts on this? I always like to have a weird Spider-Man topic. What do you think of the Kentucky Bourbon Spider-Man? JR has fallen asleep.
That's it all.
Apparently.
Should I have an opinion on this?
YouTubers that you're watching, this is what I have to deal with. I give them a funny topic and they don't bring the funny.
Well, apparently, according to our YouTube list, apparently I'm the guy that would actually jump through the window. That tonight supposedly proves that I would be the guy to try to break in.
Mel on YouTube would do it for Voodoo Donuts. There you go.
Hey, Brad, real quick.
Yes.
Something we didn't add.
I was just going to get to it. The YouTuber has asked for it. The YouTube chatters that are watching us asked us to talk about our thoughts on the Marvel Spider-Man cartoon trailer that I put up on the front page.
Yeah.
Anybody's opinions on that? Feel free to go.
The animation looks rough.
Yeah. It doesn't. It doesn't even have a regular Spider-Man costume on.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to be like a proto thing, but no, I mean I can't believe I'm saying this, but Ultimate Spider-Man's animation looks better than this.
The scene where Spider-Man is trying to slide his subway card
Oh gosh, yeah.
like over and over again while the is
Like
is
jump
it's the-
over, you fool.
You jump
it's the-
over the thing, yeah.
It's the stupidest thing I have ever seen in a Spider-Man cartoon.
Mhm.
Easily the stupidest thing.
Well, it was going for a laugh and it didn't work.
Oh
Yeah, because he can vault over the dumb thing. I mean, there's like
Okay.
everyone's thinking that, like, just leap over the dumb turnstile. You got
Yeah.
plenty of room.
Agility of a spider, and you can't jump over a turnstile.
The agility of a
Well,
spider, but the common sense of insert.
Mhm. Yeah.
The common sense
You
of Steve
almost-
Wacker, apparently.
Oh, no.
Showrunner
It's
on
not
this.
that bad.
it almost feels like that Dan Slott was writing this. Oh wait, he's a part of the.
JR, did you see the trailer? Or
Yeah,
the-
I did. I
What'd you
did.
think, man?
Oh, it's awful, awful.
Yeah.
But then again, you're asking a man in his 50s about a cartoon aimed at 10 years old. I'm not sure I'm
Yeah.
qualified to opine on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I know some people on our Facebook page, or actually, our review staff were like, "And this was." Just remember, Spectacular Spider-Man was canceled for these two cartoons. That's sort of half true, but yes.
Here. Is there any pros from the cartoon trailer?
At least it's kind of somewhat closer to what Spider-Man than the last one, I guess.
Yeah,
because it's not. We're not getting shield agents.
That's true.
Yeah, we're not.
I
No
will
shield
say, I
agent.
know Spectacular Spider-Man got a lot of flack for the way it looked in the beginning, so I'm holding out hope that it could be good. I'm not confident with Dan Slott working on it, or with Marvel's previous track record with the Spider-Man cartoons, but I'm not at a point yet where I can say I don't like it.
Some of the comments from our YouTubers didn't break the fourth wall. That's a pro. There's no monkey noises. There's no chibi. There's no.
Yeah, there's none of that
Bell.
There's none of that chibi crap.
Let's see.
Drake Bell was too busy trying to pay his bond for his Tim.
Neil, who gave me the tip on this one, said even Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends looked better.
Oh,
That's true.
That's
true.
Them's fighting words for Douglas, though.
Mm-hmm.
You just
No, it's not fighting words. I confirm it. Amazing Friends does look better. Oh, all right.
Amazing Friends also had a Peter Parker that was his own man and not Tony Stark's stooge.
And he was in his 20s in college. He wasn't a young little punk. Drake Bell is trapped in Disney World, says Mike.
Probably
All right.
drunk.
Final words on this episode. Let's go around the horn. Ashley, final words. Are you still traumatized from Silver and Black?
You know, I'd actually put it out of my mind until you brought it back up, so thank you.
George, final words.
Ditko news.
We didn't have any. I couldn't find any, and we wanted to keep this one short.
You had one job, Douglas.
Sorry.
You had one job.
Sorry, dog. JR, final thoughts, sir.
Let's see here. I'll bring out the box. What have I got here? Oh, hey, the Amazing Spider-Man versus the Prodigy. We never did discuss that, did we?
Oh, that's the sex ed book. Oh, I love that one.
And then Spider-Man and Power Pack. Yeah.
Oh, the abuse.
Oh man.
What a fun.
Let's see. Yeah, that's in the box. But that we'll have to save that for another time, boys and girls.
Oh, JR, I want you to review that one time. I want you to review both of those. At some point on Spider History, please.
No.
Our live viewers, do you want to see JR review those two in Spider History? Yes or no?
Say God, no.
I don't think they've. I don't know that anybody's heard of these. I mean.
Then even better. Okay, final words. Mike, final words. It's unanimous. They want it. Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
It's not unanimous. You've got one guy saying no, one guy saying no. That's not
There's
unanimous.
I'm looking at
What the hell is wrong with you?
Oh, George has been overruled.
Okay.
George is about to bust out the way I was.
Mike,
earlier.
final thoughts.
Well, I guess in terms of films, I'm kind of still crossing my fingers about Homecoming. Not so much about the Spider-Man Cinematic Universe without Spider-Man, but we will see.
Zach, final words.
I don't always drink alcohol, but when I do, it's for the Spider-Man Crawlspace podcast. Stay thirsty, my friends.
And you know what? I want to point out on that note. I want to point out something because I took flack one time because you guys don't understand. We most of the time we record at 9 and we stop at like 2, 3 in the morning, right? and so at one point, just about a year ago or so, I was tired as hell. We were doing one night Fight Club stuff, Friday night fight, and somebody said, "Dude, George, were you drunk while recording this?" And I was like, "No, dude, I've been up since like 5:30 that day." And it was like 12 o'clock or whatever that night, and we're doing this damn thing.
Yeah.
And I said, there's been 2 times when I've ever even had booze on the show. And I said it on the show both times. I said, I'm enjoying a red stripe beer right now. That's it. You have Zach Joyner over there mainlining Jack for the entire episode. So I don't ever want to hear anything about that again.
By the way, when I asked the YouTubers if they want to see JR review those 2 books. I just missed it. Where was it?
Scroll back up.
Basically, it said, "George, do not deny the people."
Deny the people what?
The JR reviewing the sex ed book and the child abuse issue.
One of them is entirely inappropriate to review. I'm sorry, but it is, especially given Mr. Fettinger's unique review style. That's the best way to say it on a family show.
I think George is.
Can't have that on PBS.
Oh yeah, that's
that thing may be different, but the other one needs to be off limits now and forever. If you disagree with that, you're a gosh dang monster.
What if we did the evil that men do?
Oh,
That's scary.
No. Oh,
how can you even say that with a straight face as a Felicia Hardy fan? I'm ashamed of you.
I like what Hornacek.
It was one of the best she's ever been drawn.
Hornacek said the next episode is an intervention for Zach. Oh,
you got the cutscenes in the corner, huddling back to myself.
That's funny. Hey gang, we're gonna take another about 5-10 minute break, and we'll be back. I'm gonna keep the live stream up, and I'm gonna get a new Mountain Dew, and we'll start the message board questions.
I will stay in the chat here.
Okay, I'll be back. We'll be back in 5 to 10. All right.
Ashley, the thing I have to tell you, I cannot tell you until we're done for the evening.
Okay.
Okay.
Just FYI.
He's asking me. I went near the evil that men do without a stick. It was one of the first issues. Like I went and found it at a convention in one of the 50 cent bins, and so I pulled up the whole thing because I was really excited because it was my first comic with, and it was really fun seeing like an arc that was just exclusively like Peter and Felicia like swinging around together again, and so it was fun kind of just seeing their friendship, and there's some fun moments. But then they tried to have a plot and be serious, and they retconned her origin, and it got bad. So.
Did you ever read that book by Roberto Aguirre Sacasa? Brad's not here, so
Aguirre. It's Aguirre. Why are we saying Aguirre? It's Aguirre. It's a. How did anybody get Aguirre out of that? Jesus. The hell is wrong with you?
I'm just quoting the message board poster, Black Cat. That way. I'm sorry, Berryman.
Yes, you are.
Espanol.
Yes, you are sorry.
She's the one that speaks Espanol. I'm not. I'm just merely quoting her. You know, remember, she was the one that used to purr at Brad. This is back like 10 years ago, Ashley. So, I mean, I don't know if you remember this. But she literally would purr at Brad, and his wife literally was telling him, "Who the hell is purring at you?" Now it's George.
Oh God!
But back then it was our poster that was her handle was Black Cat.
Black Cat.
So
I'm glad I can represent Black Cat differently.
and on that note, cheers, George.
I have not actually, to answer Robert's question, I have not actually read Marvel Divas.
Let's see.
Or I might have, but I don't remember it. So I either didn't read it or wasn't interested enough for me to remember.
Hi, JR. You just look lonely.
I'm just in a period of deep contemplation, awaiting the beginning of the next show. Enter in my zone.
By the way, George, people want you to review the rest of the adult film library of Spider-Man.
I doubt that's going to happen now that we've moved to a video format.
Does anyone remember the voice actress for for Black Cat and Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh gosh, she was pretty notable too, because she did a bunch of voice work for.
I adore her.
She was in. I think wasn't she in
That
Mass?
was,
She was in Mass Effect. Did something for.
Ashley adores her so much she doesn't.
She also
I'm bad with names.
uh,
Leave me alone.
Tisha Helfer.
I think that sounds
I thought
familiar.
Trisha Helfer did it in
She
a
was-
different cartoon.
For sure.
Wait a minute. Wasn't this
We have
wasn't the
many
same
different
actress that did what's
We're
her?
having it.
Wasn't this the same actress that played one of the androids in the Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah, I thought she
everybody's
did
saying
it in a
Trisha
different
Helfer.
cartoon. Well, she
Yeah,
did.
okay.
She did it in the Weissman cartoon.
Trisha Helfer
Yeah, I think-
stood me up.
Oh, because you were going to interview her.
I was going to interview her, and she would not talk to the press.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I wanted to talk about Black Cat. Ashley, you would have loved it.
Are you sure she
Okay,
wouldn't talk to the
oh,
press, or that she just wouldn't talk to you?
Well,
okay.
Wouldn't have been
Hey,
the first
Black
top
guy
blonde to turn me down.
By the way, Brad,
that
I
guy
was
looks like the Kingpin.
By the way, Brad, depending on how long the segment's going to go, I'm probably going to have to sign off about 10 o'clock. That's okay. Yeah,
That's fine. We've think we've gone pretty fast paced. George, you like the pace?
The pace
Yeah.
has been nice, and it's because we cut out a lot of extraneous news.
It's not 2 o'clock on my end, so I'm happy.
Absolutely 100%
100%
bullets
true.
of truth right
So
now.
something I've been championing for a long time
You guys
has finally proven correct.
Yes.
How long did we talk about that, George? With our lunch we had the other day, it was like what 20 minutes
So-
of just.
Hey, did we review the free comic thing, McNulty?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. I think you
the-
stepped out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we did the. Yeah.
Since
get the-
while I was gone, I decided to get a glass from the star of the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie.
Oh, speaking of glasses,
God.
You got a George? I thought you'd
hold
like
on.
that. You got a glass, Ashley?
Suck it, Douglas.
Oh, Ashley's literally leaving a room. So
Ashley's had enough. Ashley's done with your BS. Ashley's over. She's had it.
You triggered Ashley to leave there, Douglas.
Ditko News is
Hashtag.
not extraneous, says Neil. Haha, I agree. Here, I'll be right back.
I didn't say Ditko News was extreme. Ditko News is at least Spidey related tangentially.
Mhm. Yeah.
So while
like
George is getting
What,
George
Ashley?
is getting dissed by Studio Movie Grill, I got their sick Wonder Woman cup.
Oh, let's talk about
Oh.
Wonder Woman real quick.
It
Well, don't spoil it for me because I haven't seen it.
We'll talk
But-
about
I
it
haven't
in a
seen
non.
it. La, 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 la.
Okay.
We'll talk
okay.
about it in a non-spoilery way. But Wonder Woman was fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about it.
It is one of the
actually, so-
best superhero movies I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
It was gripping and compelling.
So does it completely redeem like the DC universe
No,
thing?
no, nothing can redeem the rest of the DC universe. Nothing can redeem.
Okay.
Nothing can redeem that jackassy Lex Luthor. Nothing can redeem
Okay.
the Hot Topic Joker. Nothing. This movie, Wonder Woman, deserves so much better for a cinematic universe. And thankfully, it's a standalone movie. There aren't any
good.
jackassy cameos
Mm-hmm.
in it. You know, setting other crap up for other stuff. It's just a Wonder Woman movie, and it is. Gail Gadot is amazing. Amazing.
We're gonna go see it tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
What were you saying, Ashley?
Gal Gadot in this movie was top tier wifey material.
Yes, she was.
Oh my god, she was precious.
Here's the thing: a lot of people gave her crap because she supposedly can't act. This is a woman that served 2 years in the Israeli military. She could kick all our asses
Yeah.
There was a lot of people.
upwards and downwards.
There was a lot of people that had problems with that casting. I was not one of them because I'd seen what she did in the Fast and Furious movies, and she kicked butt.
Mhm.
So when they announced Affleck and her, and a lot of people had problems with that, I was like, dude, Affleck's gonna be fine. And Gal Gadot was amazing. And then when Batman versus Superman came out, as god awful as it was,
Yeah.
Affleck was not the problem with that movie, and Gal
No, he
Gadot
was
certainly
not.
was not the problem with that movie.
It's no different than the
Luthor-
Fantastic Four movie. Michael B. Jordan was the least of that movie's problems.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
And I'll say this further. I will go. There's definitely going to be a Wonder Woman sequel now. There has to be, and I will definitely go to see that. I will not see Justice League. They have lost me for the rest of the DC universe, but I will continue to see the Wonder Woman films. They are fantastic.
The YouTubers want to know what JR was just holding. JR, you had like a goblet, which is perfect.
Yeah, goblet.
No, actually, it's a Speedway 44-ounce drink cup.
Oh.
See, I have a Speedway card, and after I get
Ooh.
drink seven of these, and I get one free. Hey, so
You need a green goblin goblet.
There's
maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll get one for Christmas from one of the Crawlspacers, since we all give each other such great gifts.
Oh, that ought to be funny to watch.
I will write that down right now.
They actually, they do make a Spider-Man goblet. I have seen it before.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Let's get to the message board questions.
JR, I haven't seen another one of these in the wild yet, but as soon as I do, this little guy is coming your way.
Oh God, put that away.
Zach's heard that before.
I was about to say,
Family show, Brad.
I'm sorry.
I hate you all.
Even I wouldn't go that low, man.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay. We ready for message board questions? YouTube live viewers, are you ready for message board questions? That's a yes. Okay. Let's see here.
Because they can't answer you back, Douglas. They haven't paid enough money for Patreon.
All right. Coming in 3, 2. Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our message board Q&A. Let's start with the first poster on our message board, Frickin' Clown Shoes.
Yeah.
Location currently riding Stegron into battle against the Crawlspace panel. There you go.
Okay,
George.
whoa. You don't ride Stegron, son. Stegron rides you.
To George, can the Guardians of the Galaxy films do films based on Annihilation, Conquest, War, and Realm of Kings? Which are possible? How would you do them?
All of it's possible. Will they do them? I doubt it. What I'm getting from what Marvel has been saying about Guardians of the Galaxy is that there's going to be one more Guardians film. This is going off of what James Gunn is, things I've read from him. They're going to do one more Guardians film, and the Guardians are going to be, I guess, in at least one of those Avengers Infinity War movies. I know the first one, but I think maybe the second one too. And then that may be it for the core Guardians as we know them. And I think that because
they could totally do a Groot and Rockets team-up movie.
But because Gunn has said that the reason that he put Stallone in there and assembled, most of the core of the original Guardians at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy was because they're setting that up for other stuff later on.
Oh.
So I'm starting to wonder if that's what he's talking about. It better happen quick because Stallone is in his 70s. But
no, they'll have to CGI Stallone.
So they, I don't know. I mean, I could they do it? Yes. How would I do it? I would let James Gunn do it, and I would STFU.
So to tie this into the Spider-Man and Rocky themes, I would like to see Stallone yell, "Adrian Toombs!"
Oh God!
Please.
Come on!
Somebody take him
But
away,
there are
please.
no words to describe the film.
Come on! That was great, wasn't it? Adrian,
I liked it.
George,
only facepalm.
George,
Yeah, pretty much.
George,
It's a good face palm.
George is speechless, which never has happened in the history of the show.
You're a horrible man.
Adrian,
I got one
He's
word.
trying so hard to keep his stuff family friendly. He wants to call you a GD monster, but it's not happening.
See,
George,
thank
I
you,
got a better
Hornacek.
one for you.
Hornacek says I went a long way for that joke. Impromptu. That was impromptu.
That was horrible.
That was
one of the
great.
most horrifying things I've ever heard, and I've read H.P. Lovecraft.
I'll top it. Who wants me to top it?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. What do we got?
Okay. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Two.
To who?
To whom?
Whoa!
She made herself snort that time.
Okay.
So much sad.
That was
So
that-
much sad.
We're off the rails and off the first question.
That was like Ashley self-immolating, except instead of immolating, it snorted.
Oh,
You got
there
two
it goes again.
You got two people on the YouTubes.
It's like you're at those. It's like you're at those crappy attractions at the mall where you put the quarter in and the chicken pecks something.
no, hold a sec. I did not have that written on my desk. I just made that up.
Next
Okay.
time I'm doing an Ashley
Hashtag
snort
self-snort.
counter for the
Okay.
fans.
Friggin' Clown Shoes on the message board also says, thank you so much for the podcast and the site. You guys are always awesome and the best. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Clown Shoes. That sounds odd. Thema Honey Show. The Mahoney Show?
The Mahoney Show.
Oh, God. There's no spaces.
He reads.
The Mahoney Show.
He reads.
What does that even mean, Brad?
Oh,
There's no spaces.
now Berryman's got the fever. He's the one yelling and screaming.
All right. The Mahoney Show has one post. His location is in the New Use Clone Chambers. Hi, gang. A returning listener, and I'm sorry I ever left. Question to all. When Peter finds out that the lizard turned his not wife and not son into his own scaly lizard family, will this motivate Peter to find a cure for Kirk Connors, or will Peter leave him alone as the lizard is finally at peace?
Make JR answer that.
JR, go ahead.
He's looking off into space right now. We can catch him.
JR, hit it.
JR is seeing dead people right now. That's how close he is to the veil, people.
They brought the lizard back after he ate his son. I mean, he's not going to be at peace and left alone now. So.
All right. Let's see. The next one is Sim BioBro from Canada's West Coast. This one is
Symbio Bro.
Symbio, bro.
Symbio Bro.
not Sim BioBro.
No. Think symbiote, but add
God
bro to it.
almighty. Raise your hand, everybody on the freaking
No.
chat saying this right now.
Stop. We can't.
All right. This one
can't do
is
that.
this one is to anyone who hasn't read, but I am specifically aiming it at George. I just want to know if there's anything at all I could possibly say or do to get you to read Remender's Agent Venom.
No.
It's
Next question.
I didn't even finish it. It's one of my favorite comics of all time, and I just wish you'd give it a chance, even though it involves symbiotes. JR doesn't have to answer since I already can guess what his answer would be.
Okay, so now I like Rick Remender's Dr. Voodoo. I enjoyed that actually.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it's a writer whose work I have enjoyed previously. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. It has who's the central character again? Remind me.
It's Flash Thompson.
Flash Thompson. You like
With
Flash?
Flash Thompson with what?
A symbiote on him.
Making him what?
An agent.
With what? Called what?
Guns.
Venom.
Venom.
Agent
Venom. The question answers itself, man.
I like that Hornacek in the chat says JR is participating in another podcast on another computer.
I'll tell you. Yes, he is, and I'll tell you something else. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
I have such little interest in Venom, aside from having to read it when he pops up in ASM. The last time I read a solo Venom book was back during Lethal Protector, and I was like, no more. Life is not long enough to suffer this.
And I can understand why.
You know what? Lethal
Yeah,
Protector is better than ASM at the moment. That's sad. That's sad. Okay. Thank you for... JR, would you pick up Agent Venom and read it on his recommendation?
No.
Okay. Big Al, I can read his handle. I got that right. Location, my cat's name is Felicia. There you go, Ashley.
Aw. Hi, Felicia.
I don't...
Also the leading contributor for Spidey-Dude.com.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I don't know. Big Al says, I don't know who's going to be on the panel. We're all here, Betty. So I'm going to ask two questions. The first one... No, you only get to ask one. But it's to George and Ashley.
People didn't care.
People
Douglas.
didn't care that I said one question. They went like three. George and Ashley, over the years, a lot of people have labeled Black Cat derivative of Catwoman. But in what ways is our girl Felicia truly unique to Miss Kyle? Personally, I find her relationship with Spider-Man over the years very distinct from Batman and Catwoman's.
I actually thought about this one in advance. I like the question a lot.
I do too.
I wonder why.
Two of my favorite characters. Oh boy. So I think what makes them different so much, even though they have similar roles, they're both, the cat burglars. Selena was always committed to her role, much more so than Felicia was. For Felicia, it's for the thrill of it. It's a hobby, and it's something she loves doing because she's good at it and because she can. However, it's not something she's really committed to, and she's happy. She could be doing anything as long as she gets a thrill out of it, whether it's doing crime or fighting bad guys. She just
or today murdering people.
Don't talk to me about that. Whereas Catwoman is very much in it. She's a career cat burglar. She always has causes that she's very causes that are very close to her, especially like when it comes to animal rights and stuff like that. So she's a much more serious character than Felicia.
Okay. All right. George, it was aimed at you too. You want to talk about it? About differences to Catwoman and Black Cat?
Black Cat doesn't use a whip.
Well, she does now. Kind of.
When did she have a whip? I didn't see that.
It's that little belt thing that she's got on now. That, like,
Catwoman has a whip. Black Cat doesn't have a whip.
Well,
wait a minute. Hang on. I take that back. She did in the early Wolfman days.
Yeah.
Well, no,
but she's also got that metallic belt thing that's supposed to be like that she now has because she's evil.
Catwoman never
It's
had.
what the cool kids are wearing.
Catwoman never had Black Cat or had bad luck powers. There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Felicia never had a cat. Did she?
I think she did.
Yeah, she did.
She had
She did.
background cats, but Selena always, at least in the Batman animated series, she always had her
We've got one from Adam S. in San Diego, California. To everyone, is there anything Spider-Man or Marvel related coming up that you're really looking forward to before the year ends? Well, the movie.
Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Looking forward to Thor.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I was not interested in seeing that until I saw the trailer, and my gosh, that was.
I'm looking forward to the Defenders on Netflix.
I'm not.
Oh,
no,
not after Iron Fist. No, I'm dreading it.
Really?
I'm terrified. I'm looking forward to Netflix Punisher, but I have a bad feeling about Defenders now after what happened with Iron Fist.
Dude, that Netflix Punisher looks legit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
There's not even a trailer yet. It just looks legit because of Rosenthal.
Of the skull, basically.
I'm looking forward to the PS4 Spider-Man game. I want to play that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't have a PS4, but I'm looking forward to it.
I look forward to that the way I look towards a gangrenous wound.
JR, anything Marvel related you're looking forward to?
No.
Really?
Okay. Nothing?
No.
Not even the movie?
Not really.
Well, man, not even Thor?
Is Spencer looking forward to any of these movies?
Oh, yes, he is. So I'll probably wind up going to see them all.
Oh, he's going to drag you kicking and screaming. Oh, my goodness. Oh, jeez.
I'm looking forward to Wonder Woman 2. I have a good feeling about that one.
All right, let's see. Our next question is from Spider Sensei 13. Hey, gang, simple question for me. If there is one what-if story involving Spider-Man that you would like to be told but hasn't, which would yours be?
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Spider-Man becomes a Kingpin's enforcer. Or what if the Spider-Man becomes the Kingpin's enforcer? Or
I like that.
Or
Brad be all up on that.
If you really want to get into the continuity weeds, what if Spider-Man joined the enforcers, like Montana, the Fancy Dan, those guys, during the Frederick Fossil Big Man period.
There was one where he was like an assassin with Wolverine. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was based off of the what if Spider-Man versus Wolverine.
That was the last good one.
Yeah,
that was the last good one that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else?
I was gonna say, what if Spider-Man and Black Cat got married, but
no one wants
to die at the end?
No one did that.
I think they did that. They've done that issue.
No one died at the end.
Did not end well for either.
No one wants you to read that.
I know. I was so excited when I found it, and I'm reading through it, and then splat.
Yeah.
Went my hopes and dreams.
By the way, Enigma 2099 says, "What if one more day never happened?" We did get that. That was called Kevin Cushing's. That was called Kevin Cushing's Spider-Man: Crawlspace. Cushing.
Shin Holum, first-time question, relatively new listener. Sorry for the lengthy preamble. I'm a lifelong Spider-Man fan. I would go so far as to say that he is my favorite hero. However, a few years ago, from when I got back into comics after a few years away, I put down Civil War, the first one, after Peter unmasked, and instead discovered and became enthralled by Nova in DNA's Annihilation story. Even though this was the first I had heard of the character, he quickly shot up to tie with Peter Parker for me. Later, when I was poring over Richard Rider's earlier stories, coincidentally during the Heroic Age, when they had an awesome team-up issue, I was incredibly pleased to learn that not only did Peter and Richard know each other, but were actually pretty good friends. And after years of wanting Richard back in Marvel, finally brought him back and then canceled his actually incredibly good book. My question for you guys is, what do you all think of Richard, and do you give his book a shot? And what were your thoughts on it, and did you read it? I read the Annihilation. I read the Annihilation Nova, and I read the Eric Larson Nova, and I read the Nova from New Warriors, where he had the mullet. I remember that. And I like Richard Rider. I do not care for Sam. The only impression I have of Sam is from the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. And
I think that's pretty much soured quite a few
and that
people
did not make me pick up the book. I can't speak to the quality of the book. I haven't read the book, but I have no desire in that character. And it didn't make me pick it up. But it's nice to know that the book is good. I guess I could read it on Marvel Unlimited if I wanted to. Does anybody like Nova? Did anybody read Nova? He had a crossover in the 70s when Nova's very first book, like issue 172 or something.
Yeah, my first exposure to Nova was like during when they did that round robin Sidekick's Revenge.
That was bad. I recently reread that. That's bad.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah, but that was my first exposure to them and the New Warriors and everything like that, because it was like
rough.
So yeah. But,
all right, you guys just mentioned that. Here's a quick visual aid.
What you got? What is it?
Oh, he's got the trade of it.
Why in the world did you buy that trade? The book's horrible.
When I was a kid, I collected all 4 of the 6 issues. I loved it, and this thing is in pristine condition considering it's like 25 years old. So I'm like, you know what? And now we got we've got the Punisher, okay, Marvel Legend. We have the Dark Hawk that just came out with the Guardians of the Galaxy. The only ones we're missing is Moon Knight's coming out with the next Homecoming wave. The only ones we're missing is Richard Rider and freaking Night Thrasher. And then you have everybody in that story.
I swear I have a Nova action figure from Legends. I thought I did.
Well, Toy Biz did produce one, yeah.
Okay.
They produced a recent one.
Okay.
They did
yeah.
In the previous Guardians of the Galaxy wave. I guess I can find that at Target, but I don't want to pay $25 for that thing. Because for some reason the old wave is $5 more than the new one.
Wow.
Explain that to me, Hasbro.
Back to the message board. Mr. Metz, for the Spider-Man movie after...
Whoa. Two things. I got 2 things. Go ahead. I got to get this out.
Yes, sir.
All right, number 1. Zach, no one misses Night Thrasher. Number 2, how adorable was Ashley when she was doing this thing?
Oh, I missed it. I was going through Windows. What did she do?
I just did it. She was like,
do it again.
She was like doing this.
We'll all do it. There you go.
Oh.
All right, we're back to the message board. Mr. Metz, for the Spider-Man movie after Homecoming, should Marvel and Sony pick villains or just one villain who hasn't appeared in the films, or should they go back with a classic bad guy who has been in movies before?
Like I said during our news segment, they're totally going.
Go ahead, Mike.
Like I said during the news segment, you know that there's somebody's going to either Sony or Marvel series, they want to do like some Sinister Six style. So because if they you know that somebody's going to say we got to do like our own take on Dr. Octopus and Sandman and Mysterio and all those guys at some point. So because after all, if they're starting with the Vulture and everything, they might as well bring those guys back in. I mean, that's I mean, you know it's coming. I mean, at some point. I mean, it's some variation of the.
I think the odds are more for Ock as opposed to Norman. I don't. What, George? I mean, Jr. I don't think the odds are for Norman to come back. What do you think?
I wouldn't place any money on it. No.
Yeah.
Well, see, I mean, Sony screwed up Norman so bad, and drove Norman into the ground so bad, and Harry, to be honest.
Yep.
But the thing is, though, I don't put anything past Sony. I could see Sony trying to do an Osborn film without a Spider-Man.
Green Goblin
apparently,
Spider-Man.
Apparently, he's the main bad guy in Silver and Black. I mean, I guess we will, won't we?
Wow. Poor Ashley.
Hornifex said the spot, and I couldn't agree more.
Oh, there you go.
We need the Grizzly and the Gibbon in the new movie.
No,
Enigma.
We need the Hypno Hustler.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine? That would be great.
We need the Hobgoblin.
Oh, there you go.
That would be good. Durabil from Alberta, Canada. Hi, guys and gals. I've been listening to the podcast for years, and I love every episode. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I've been collecting Spider-Man since the early 80s, and I agree with most of you that the current direction, in my opinion, doesn't feel like Spider-Man at all. I frequent the message boards at CBR and Dudes. Dan Slott has it out for whoever the user Metamorphosis is. The recent back and forth between you guys was very...
That would be Cheese Dick. He's about to actually change his handle to Metamorphosis on the message boards.
I find it disappointing that as a professional writer, he constantly has to bombard message boards when any criticism of his work is negative. Just wondering how you guys feel the main Spider-Man writer is constantly putting down the Crawlspace website and a podcast at another the website and podcast at another website. A site and podcast that, in my eyes, loves Spider-Man and is a great ambassador of all things Spider-Man related. Keep up the great work, and please, 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 Metamorphosis, keep posting at CBR.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
I think a lot of the frustration, I mentioned this elsewhere, is it's because I think there's a frustration, and especially in terms of Spider-Man fans, especially who visited Crawlspace, about One More Day. And it's been going on for 10 years. I mean, and rightfully so. It's One More Day is a horrible story. And I can imagine Dan Slott in his position to be like, oh gosh, I got to hear this about complaining about One More Day, about how bringing the marriage back and everything else, that it's not going to come back. So there's a kind of there's that level of frustration there that from his vantage point. Plus, I mean, he kind of also wants to kind of feel like, oh, I'm now the headliner of Amazing Spider-Man, so I want to try to do my own thing. So anyone kind of trying to complain about how my current stories are somehow worse than what came before, that's. So I think there's just kind of a lot of that that kind of that tension there or something like that. And again, and I think, and not just with Dan Slott, but anybody who is kind of associated with Spider-Man at Marvel at this point is that they wanted to go, they felt like, okay, we had this mission statement after One More Day and everything. They thought everything was going to be great after Spider-Man's marriage went away. And the end result was we got stories which were no better or no worse, in some cases really worse than what came before. And so there's
a lot worse.
Yeah.
So my when Dan Slott was on the message board and on the front page, I often said to him that he tends to focus on the negative. There'll be praise, there'll be good grades and reviews, etc., but he tends to focus on the negative of the site. And if someone doesn't like a story, he challenges them. He argues with them a little bit. He never
a little bit,
a lot, yeah. He's never focused in on the positive aspects of this site. We just ran a top 50 list of the best Spider-Man stories of all time, and there were several Slott stories on there. He never. I don't think he would notice that. I think he tends to use the crawl space as a dirty word on the CBR. He thinks all of us are negative. He thinks we're out to get him mainly. And the posters that are on CBR are also on the crawl space and also many other message boards. But he tends to say they're all ours, when they're not all ours. None of our staff is the ones arguing with him over on CBR.
It's the new Red Scare. He sees a crawl space behind every bush or anything bad thing that happens. It's a crawl space thing.
So it's very easy to lump all Spider-Man fans that are against his writing as Crawlspace fans, which is a very easy out, and it gives the site a bad name, which I've worked for nearly 20 years on this site. And we've got 34 people watching us right now. And I am proud of what we've built here, and I'm sad that he uses it as essentially a swear word every time someone complains. He says, "Oh, you're a crawl spacer." It's insulting. And I've long ago said that I'm going to outlast him. There's only been one writer in nearly 30 plus years that has ever made me think of quitting Amazing Spider-Man, and that's Dan Slott. But I love Spider-Man more than I do Dan Slott. And go ahead, George.
Whenever he does this, where he goes off and he says, oh, you're a crawl spacer, or this or that, or oh, well, it's that crawl space. If you're someone who enjoys a crawl space, take pride in that, because what he means by that is that we never kissed ass. We never took what we thought was bad and tried to gloss over it and put lipstick on a pig and say it was good. We gave you our honest estimation, or I mean, over the years I have, been same thing with Brad and them early on. We gave our honest, this show and this site has given its honest opinions, good and bad, on his work. He glossed over the fact, never talks about the fact that we said very positive things about Superior Spider-Man. He never brings that up because it doesn't fit his narrative. It doesn't fit what he wants you to believe. So if you see that and you see Dan Slott and you're disagreeing with him or whatever, and you see him talk about the crawl space in a negative way, take pride in that, because that means that you like frequenting a site, you like participating in a site in a community that never kissed ass and that treated writers, artists, editors, etc. as regular people and not these celebrities to be worshipped from on high. There.
And
any other thoughts?
To dovetail off of that, for those that don't know, when One More Day hit, a lot of places that sat there and banned the discussion of it. They couldn't discuss it. Marvel's boards did it. Alvaro's boards did it. CBR had a temporary ban.
That stopped me from ever going back to Alvaro's boards.
You weren't the only one, because that place is a wasteland compared to what it used to be.
I used Alvaro's boards. I used to frequent all the time, and it's sad when I go there because they have a banner that stays on there for years at the very top, and it still says 2016 on it. I mean, that's so sad. That and Sam Ruby went away. Those were two of my favorites when I first got on the internet.
And I'll tell you right now, I mean, there was a lot. Many battles were waged on the front page of the Spider-Man crawl space.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mentioned Kevin earlier. Kevin and George, they used to sit there and verbally, textually spar with Stephen Wacker, and we gave them more rope than we would have ever given any other group of people.
Well, if you go back and actually look at the exchanges that we had with Wacker. When Wacker was posting mostly on our main page, we weren't really fighting with him. He was fighting with us. We would disagree, but we did so respectfully for the most part.
He was mainly trolling.
Oh yeah. Oh God, big time. I remember it got so bad at one point. JR was like, "Just let George talk to him. Yeah, just let George handle him." Yeah. Because all I did was just let him make himself look like let his behavior speak for itself. I was like, I'm just going to sit here and try to talk to you sanely. Let you be you.
Yeah. Which was interesting about, because there was that article that came out in the Atlantic Monthly, which was talking about this current state of Marvel, and which was surprising that the writer of that piece actually mentions the behavior of Marvel's own creators on social media,
and he calls them out by name.
Problem.
Yeah.
Which was like, that should be kind of a wake up call for these guys, for some of these guys, to make them realize, hey, fans can be jerks, but there's a give and take going on there. You're just because you are creators doesn't you still have to hold to a certain standard and a better standard in some respects.
And I feel
behavior.
I feel because I do regret that we don't have a better relationship with the main writer of Amazing Spider-Man. But I think there are more days behind Dan Slott than there are in front of him for writing the title.
Yeah.
And I hope with the new Amazing Spider-Man writer, I guarantee I will send an email and try to set up a podcast interview with the new writer of Amazing Spider-Man, and build a relationship. And like I did with Dan Slott when he first started, it would be nice to have him as a regular guest talking Spider-Man. I think that would be fun. It's sad that we don't have that relationship now.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. One of the best days I ever had podcasting, and one of the best top 15 best days of my life, was I was at a Dallas Cowboys game.
Oh yeah.
Talking to Dan Slott on the phone, and getting to have a great day with my father. That's something that I'll be able to tell my little girl. I used to be able to say I'll be able to tell my kids that. I have a kid now. I'll be able to tell her that story when she's older. We can listen to the episode ourselves here on the Crawlspace, and I'll tell her a little behind the scenes stuff. That was a great day. That Dan Slott I've always liked.
Oh yeah. It was great.
Dan Slott,
I thought we had a great opening relationship, and it just went south when we started criticizing along with praising the work.
And I think there was times when Slott, I think, took our criticism so personally, and that's probably his biggest issue, is that he takes things so personally. We don't want to hate this current volume of Spider-Man.
No,
none of us.
We're an easy sell. We're almost guaranteed to buy the issue every month.
And so we don't want to dislike what we're reading. It's just that we're not necessarily loving what you're selling, brother.
That's
Sorry,
true.
I know you're listening. I know you're listening right now.
Yeah. Or watching, as the case may be.
Or you may be viewing this on YouTube. And if you are, God bless you. But we want this title to be successful just like you do. We come at it from the exact same standpoint. Brad takes such pride in everything he does here. You take such pride in everything you do in terms of your writing. Both of which are passions. You just happen to get paid for it.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Pretty good. All right. Any other discussion on the relationship with Slott?
No, and I'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm at a point, and JR's probably with me. I'm tired of talking about the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, outside, I'm tired of giving him, free, us having to even waste time talking about it. I mean, everybody knows how he acts offline. It's a known thing now. It's been known for years. Or I say offline, online. Yeah. And I've gotten to a point now where it's like, dude, we hit peak Slott a long time ago. And I've rapidly lost the interest in even talking about the man outside of the review we have to review, right? Which don't even resemble Spider-Man anymore and have it for years.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
It seems to be every 6 months it comes up on CBR of our relationship. But anyway, let's see, where am I? Okay, Frontier. To the gang, the site's complicated and oftentimes volatile relationship with Dan Slott
You're killing me, Brad.
is well documented by this point, as well with the former editor Steve Wacker.
Case in point.
We've already answered this question.
I guess I have.
Have we?
Yeah. Do you think it's possible for the Crawlspace to form a more positive and healthy contact between itself and other Spider-Man writers working at Marvel at the moment, or potentially with a future writer? I guess I did answer your question. Yes. Yeah. The new writer of Spec, what's his name again?
Chip Zdarsky.
I actually friended him on Facebook, and I haven't done it yet, but I plan on sending him an email or a Facebook note asking for an interview with him. So look for that if he agrees to it. See, I'm starting the relationship nice with a new writer. Cheese Dick, which is Metamorphosis, who we just were talking about. To the whole gang, look in your crystal ball and say where you think the Amazing Spider-Man title will be and what will be happening in it at 1 year from now in 2018. We'll go around the horn for this one. Zach, in 1 year, what will happen in Amazing Spider-Man?
Superior Auto will be defeated. The fall of Parker Industries will be, if not already complete, in progress. And lumpy face Norman, mashed potato Norman is going to be somewhere in the background.
Mike, 1 year from now, what's happening in Amazing?
Peter Parker, world's most wanted fugitive, because remember he invaded. Because remember he invaded the Symkaria. So could that be possible that like, oh, he's now, if he goes back to New York, he'll be arrested on sight. So now we're gonna have. So I'm picturing a globe-trotting Spider-Man without Parker Industries. So he's going to be wandering the Earth like a David Carradine from Kung Fu.
There you go.
Out of town like Lorenzo Lamas from Renegade.
Exactly. Yep.
Close our Chronicles fan and start cueing the Renegade theme because that's one of our Renegade acts.
Okay, Ashley, 1 year from now, Amazing Spider-Man, what's happening in the book?
Oh, well, wherever he is, Peter's going to be taking responsibility on things that are not his fault, but he won't actually do anything about it, which will actually lead to things that are his fault that he won't take responsibility for. But none of it will matter anyway because there'll be some event that puts a what's the phrase I'm looking for? That puts a wrench in everything.
Okay. George, 1 year from now, and Amazing.
1 year from now, and Amazing. It still will not resemble anything that Spider-Man-ish. Peter will be on his moon base, as you know, with the rest of the Nova Corps people that have been stationed there, and he'll be wondering if he should go to Mary Jane's wedding to Tony Stark.
Oh God! Wait a minute, she's going to be marrying she'll be marrying a computer.
He'll be better by then.
And Aunt May,
it's like Wanda and Vision all over again.
And Aunt May will be on the run from the law after having knocked over a liquor store.
Nice. All right, JR.
Samuel L. Fury will be mad.
1 year from now, JR, what's going on in the book?
1 year from now, let's see here. Dan Slott will be writing it. And between him and Chip, they will take Spider-Man back to basics, and we'll see that we'll have more of the Parker luck, and we'll get we'll return to the stories that you have demanded. So,
I agree. It's more of a back to basics.
Real quick, somebody pointed out something in chat that we didn't mention in the news, and it's kind of important, that Marvel did trademark Iron Jane.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Iron Spider and everything. So
I asked the YouTubers that are watching us live what will be happening a year from now in Amazing. So I'm going to read them. Peter Parker's running some Symkaria. Mary Jane steals her own Iron Spider costume and gets a spin-off series. Spider-Man will be humiliated for everything. Miles will be the one true Spider-Man, and Marvel will completely ignore that Peter Parker ever existed. Otto's wild ride continues. Peter will get into a bad accident, wind up with shrapnel in his chest, and require an AKC reactor to stay alive. Good one, Anuma. Spider-Man will become the new Venom. Dan Slott will still write Amazing Spider-Man. Marvel just trademarked Iron Jane. Ugh.
Yeah, that was the one I was referencing.
Spider-Man's been part of the Nova Corps moon base. Let's see. What else? The Otto May romance begins anew. Venom went off into outer space with a robot butler and a space panda sidekick. That actually...
I'm honestly surprised that with the, new aging down of Aunt May, that Slott hasn't already rehashed that. The whole Otto and Aunt May thing. I'm very surprised by that.
He kind of referenced it in Superior just a smidge.
But. Well, so did JMS.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we'll have a new love interest in a year.
Moving on to another poster, Mr. Starkiller 360 from Brazil. If one more...
asked 7 questions. So much for that one question thing. He asked 7 questions. It's like...
He did?
So much for
I only see one.
Yeah.
If OMD was to be undone today by one of you guys, what else would you change to the Spider-Man lore aside from bringing back the marriage? Would you bring back Baby May? Would you kill off Aunt May? Would you erase OMD? What else would you do?
Post OMD.
Yeah.
I think the idea, not so much it'd be exactly like Renew Your Vows is currently, but the idea of Peter Parker becoming a father, like with a young kid, not like how Annie is now, but maybe like but like having
so one Spider-Man and a baby.
Yeah, pretty much.
starring Ted Danson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got? Let's see here. Wolf Cipher. Location someplace safe for Marvel Comics. Knowing what we know now, if you had to replace Dan Slott with someone else from that bad brand new day Spider-Man brain trust, who would you choose? Mark Guggenheim, Bob Gale, Joe Kelly, Zeb Wells, or Quesada?
Interestingly enough, Joe Kelly, and I think partly because that's when Dan Slott, before he got the gig for Amazing Spider-Man, I read somewhere that he actually thought Joe Kelly was going to get it over other than him. So which I could do, and I could totally see, even though Kelly was pretty hit or miss at times on that during Brand New Day, because
we would have missed volumes and volumes of fan fiction being injected into our Spider-Man comics.
Bob Gale's stuff I hated, the freak stuff.
Oh gosh.
And if I remember, what did Zeb Wells do? Did he do that awful snow
that snow one and
snow one?
Shed. He also did Shed, which for some reason a lot of people like. I don't know why, but
what was Guggenheim's biggest contribution?
Flash Thompson losing his legs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that was actually
a good story.
Who did freak? Wasn't that Gale?
Yeah.
Yes, that was Gale.
That was bad. All right, let's see. JR, you haven't said anything. Who do you like from that list? You like Kelly? You like Guggenheim?
I have to go with Joe Kelly as the lesser of all the evils, frankly.
I would agree. T Gone 5679. JR, with Norman's new facial disfigurement, it made me think back to your Goblin Mystery Solved article from right before the Revenge of the Green Goblin came out. You had speculated that maybe Norman's face had transformed into that of a goblin from the end of the final chapter. And I remember Howard Mackey from the Wizard Spider-Man special saying how Norman will be changed when he returns. Do you think something different was planned with Norman had the reboot been received differently?
Yeah, what he's referring to, because at the very end of the final chapter when Norman was put into the insane asylum and before the Scryers got him, he was unmasked and all the doctors in the hospital were saying, his face, like something horrible had happened. And then Mackey made that reference. So I just speculated that because I think it was around at the same time or whatever, the Earth X series had come out, and that had happened to Norman. That the Terrigen Mist gave everybody superpowers or whatever, and had transformed him. So I thought that may be where they went. But do I think something different was planned with Norman? Had the reboot been received differently? It's hard to tell because if Howard Mackey was in charge, Mackey had a tendency to just not finish things, and continuity was never his strong point. So he might have had something planned, but to be honest, whether he would have followed up on it is anyone's guess, to be honest.
Yeah. Last question from Aziz. Location Judge Batman's Scowl. He says, I actually like the idea of Norman's struggles with not knowing and is annoyed that the oldest of his 3 children actually knows who Spider-Man is. They should really make it a non-canonical, is that how you say it?
Non-canonical.
Canonical what-if story. Who should handle this script? Me thinks J.M. DeMatteis is the best current writer when it comes to the Goblins.
Uh-oh.
Do we really want to visit this story which will not be mentioned, though?
JR's triggered.
Go ahead, JR. What story should we not mention? What are we talking about?
Sin's Past is what they're talking about.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of Norman struggling with, and Hornacek was wondering if I was participating in another podcast. Actually, I'm reading the message board questions off this other computer because I got it in bigger print or whatever, so this old man's eyes can see it. It's like the Reader's Digest large print version of the Crawlspace message board.
He's got Chrome. He's got it like zoomed to 200.
Yeah. I don't like that idea at all. I mean, I don't like Norman struggling with not knowing. I don't like it. I don't think Harry should know right now at this time. And frankly, I have never been completely turned off by the Sins Past story because I think you could do something with the daughter character, but it's radioactive now and nobody will touch it. So So no, I don't even want to go in this direction. And I would disagree that J.M. DeMatteis is the best current writer when it comes to goblins.
I'm predicting that JR will complain that if J.M. DeMatteis wrote a goblin story, Vermin would show up.
Yeah, Vermin would show up. But you know, J.M. DeMatteis. No, I mean J.M. DeMatteis was doing a good job with Norman. In Spectacular, was he doing Spectacular at the time?
I think he might have been.
So,
He was doing a good job with Norman, and Mackie was doing a good job with Norman, and actually more recently Warren Ellis and I think even Bendis, but then Bendis decided to forget Norman had superpowers to begin with, decided to forget that he and Spider-Man were arch enemies, and decided to have him flying around in his underwear in purple. So anyway, I guess I got from the main point or whatever, but no, I don't want to see this story.
Yeah.
I want Norman to go back to knowing who Spider-Man is. I want him to get his powers back. I want him to be the green effing goblin, and none of this other crap.
Yeah. All right, that was the last.
Rated T version of JR's rants.
That was the last question on the message board. I'll take a couple questions from the YouTube listeners right now. If you have any questions before we wrap this episode up, if you would like to aim it at any member of the panel, feel free, and I will read them to them. So there's a little bit of a delay when I ask before you type. So, gang, are you ready for questions aimed at you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm ready for the sack of flour meme to die. That's what I'm ready for.
I'm not. That's gold.
Never. Flour's got a really long shelf life, Zach.
Ashley,
Ashley's
do
got
you
one.
like
Cool, dry
Ashley,
place.
do you like jazz?
I like jazz.
Yeah. That's a random question.
Sure. Who
I'm doing
doesn't?
jazz hands now.
Oh, jazz hands. There you go. Is it bad to give Spider-Man... Oh, you didn't hyphenate, Jordan. Is it so bad to give Spider-Man a kid? No, I think it works.
Back.
Should
Look at
Spider-Man become bonded with Venom again?
No.
Okay?
Why?
No.
God, no.
But it'd probably do something like that in Venomverse or something.
Jesus,
I
God,
guess.
no. Why? No.
All right. Take a couple more questions before we wrap this up. Have you ever danced in the pale moonlight? Nice Batman rep. JR, is it time that Norman gets an upgrade to his glider? It seems kind of outdated by now. I get it's classic, but I think Norman would have developed a suit capable of flight by now.
It's funny. You kind of mentioned that because it seems that technology in the Marvel Universe progresses to a point and no further. Like Spider-Man never making any changes to his webbing, ignoring all that big time stuff that Slott did. Spider-Man never really improves his costume. He doesn't do much with his webbing. I don't, and you're right. Maybe Norman would do that, but I don't want to see the Green Goblin fly. I want to see the Green Goblin ride on a stupid glider. Yeah. There are just some things that, that's
it's iconic. You don't want to see Spider-Man fly. You want to see the web shooters.
JR wants to see Norman on the glider with Gwen, and they're doing the song from Aladdin. I will show you the world. That's what JR wants to see.
DC Marvel fan guy had an interesting one.
Robert Bell says Ashley should read Marvel Divas. It's really a good take on Felicia. I agree. That's actually a good one.
I would like to.
Is that the one with Firestar has cancer? I think. Yeah. I think it is.
I think that's what I've heard.
A good one.
There was an interesting one that actually asked, if we could switch Spider-Man's rogue gallery with either Batman or Flashes, which one would we pick?
I don't know.
Batman.
Also, DC Marvel fan guy had a good question.
I think that was the one I was just saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I think for that one, I would think the Flash Rogues villain's kind of more Spider-Man anyway, especially since you've watched CW Flash. It's pretty much his Spider-Man. But
Will has a good question. He says, should characters like Kane and Miles get their own superhero names in order to differentiate them from other characters with the same names?
Yes, and then go away.
Mm-hmm. And then go away.
Well, no. Miles on the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon was named Kid Arachnid.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's not good.
Good at all.
All right. I think that's.
Somebody had a good point. Where X Wolf said George Spider-Man versus Superman Fight Night. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And they mentioned Michael Bailey. Isn't that a good idea?
Would that be a special guest? Would there be a special guest on that?
We've said too much.
No.
Yes.
We've said too much.
That's a tease for a future episode. To the YouTubers, thank you so much. We never went below, I think, 30 people that watched 3+ hours of this. So thank you for doing this. I think this is how we're going to do it in the future. I think this is much better than Skype. I like the interactivity, and I like seeing my friends. So I think that's awesome.
Okay.
We're going to go around the horn for final thoughts, but George, you can have the final thought. Go ahead.
I don't have a final thought. When you end the stream, don't hang up on all of us. Just end the stream, and then because there's something I got to tell Ashley that's actually kind of funny.
Gotcha. Okay, Mike, final thoughts.
This was actually a lot of fun. Actually, kind of a unique format thing, getting to see all these people's reactions to us and seeing our ugly mugs on screen. I'm speaking for myself, but great.
Yeah,
great time.
Ashley's far more attractive than the rest of us. So I mean,
is that Bogey?
Yeah.
Ashley brought her cat.
That cat is huge, and I am a handsome man. Just putting that out there.
Funny.
Yep.
You need a cat named Felicia, though, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I got my bogey.
There you go.
Okay.
Final thoughts, Ashley.
That cat's head is as big as her, as big as hers. Literally, they have the same size head, and it's a feline.
Mm-hmm. He's great for head.
Yep.
All right.
Final thoughts. I really like this new method that we're doing. It's really fun doing YouTube and having the live stream. So I hope we can do it in the future.
Ashley, can you believe we were ending recording before before the sun comes up?
I know.
JR's like, I may actually get sleep tonight. I'm not used to it.
Ninja Worshipper says JR stole the show with the box. I agree. JR's box that sounds odd. JR's box is great.
It's JR in a box.
JR, final thoughts, sir.
Get you a box.
You're thinking of doing this again?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the fans demanded it.
I think we have faces for radio. But anyway.
You know, JR, think about this, okay? And you think about this, Douglas. As many problems as we've had getting the Skype audio up.
Oh, yeah.
And getting that done over the last several years, but especially the last year. As many times as we had that problem, there was always one person saying, we ought to try Google Hangout.
That was you. I'll admit it.
For over a year.
Okay, I'm looking right at you, George. I'm looking right at the camera.
Because this is
at the camera. George was right.
This has been smooth as silk. This entire thing has been smooth as silk.
Yep.
Like the
there has been one person that's had audio problems. Tonight, and I do apologize.
It's of course, yeah.
It's me.
Michael Reed said George's looks boost the views.
If you're a butcher, you put the best cuts up front, baby.
Yeah.
George is the best cut.
you got JR.
George is the best cut.
JR is kind of face palming.
So I'm just thinking that means that someone thinks that George is the best piece of meat. And I just
and now YouTube chat wants a shirt that says George was right.
It can happen.
Wow. Okay, final thought on Zach. I don't think I got Zach in there.
No, you haven't. This was fun.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I was scared it was going to be a disaster. I'm not going to lie.
It went really well.
Very well.
And I will say this. Although George was right, who was the guy that finally pushed this ball rolling towards Google Hangout?
He didn't listen to me all the billion times I said, let's try Google Hangout. Then Zach is like, hey, maybe you ought to try Google Hangout. And then Brad's like, hey, that's a great idea. And I was like, oh.
I knew I was going to trigger George on that one.
Oh, man. Go ahead, buddy.
And I just got to say, thanks to everybody that said I was preaching. I had a lot of fun. I got a little animated. Yes, people claim I'm drunk, but I'm really not. I swear to God.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for participating on the YouTube page. That was awesome.
Awesome. Real quick, George versus Ashley's cat. Who wins?
Oh God, no.
That's a Fight Club.
Okay, there's many key points there. Number one, if I was to ever fight Ashley's cat, she would find what I love most.
I'll beat you down.
Yeah.
You come after my child, I'll cut you.
She would snuff me like a candle. All right. Number two, I have fought cheetahs.
What?
It is scientifically proven.
No, you fought Cheetos.
It is proven by science that I could whoop a cheetah's ass. And a friend of mine said, "Dude, that's the fastest land mammal." And I said, "It's going to be fast to run over here and get its butt." Because I have hands like canned hams. I'm a bad man.
I was about to say, I've seen you out in the wild. You're not going to catch that cheetah. I'm just going to unless you got your SUV.
I don't have to chase anything. It's going to come up to me, and it's going to get the left gun. It's going to get the right gun. If the left one don't get you, then the right one. 6 months in the hospital are certain.
Oh, my Lord, I feel like I'm listening to the white Muhammad Ali.
George has fought chia pets, not cheetahs. All right, that's a wrap, gang. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
Yep.
Okay, let me hit stop broadcast.
Okay. Yeah.
You out, Mike?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sign off. All right. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was. Here, I'm gonna hit stop broadcast. I think we can